What is up, everybody? We are back tonight with a special show, a special broadcast. Had to handle a little technical difficulties a little bit ago, but in the house actually have Mallory from Imperfectly Me Crafts. What's going on?
It's great here, tell you what. And I'm so excited to be here. This is so nice of you, and oh my gosh,
And I feel like we've talked a lot over the last few weeks. So
which makes it even better.
And so, for you guys tuning in, if you don't know Mallory, we'll talk about her channel here on YouTube and the things she does around beer. And in the comments, you actually have her site up there pinned that you can actually check out as well. And then I will also scroll that across the bottom so that way you can actually check her out as well. But no, Mallory's in the beer game now. She's been doing something. How long have you been doing your channel now?
We launched our first video on, would have been June 24th of last year. So not
Okay.
too long. We're fairly new to it still.
Okay, so 9 months, 9 months in it. So first year, 3 months away, your 1 year anniversary. And she said we because there is Chew. I know Chew's around somewhere, though Chew doesn't really come on camera. Is he camera shy or does he just like to just give you all the spotlight?
He's extraordinarily camera shy.
Is he really?
Yeah, he does not want to be on film. He doesn't mind if it's his hands. He doesn't mind, having a shoulder in there sometimes, but mostly he just really doesn't want to be on camera. So I keep telling him we'll have a face reveal in a year or two.
Well, some people like it behind the camera, so I can understand that. He's definitely more into the directing and producing type role. But so you've been doing this site for 9 months and everything, and you're out of the Chicago area, so you're getting a lot of the Chicago breweries, and we have a lot of people that watch that are up in Chicago too, which is cool in itself. And how'd you get into doing the beer channel? How'd you get into wanting to start doing this?
Well,
And
it's
by the way, you
really
do have a beer with you, right? Because you got to have a beer when you're on here. Just checking. Okay, gotcha.
Metropolitan Flywheel Pilsner.
Very nice.
Delicious. I just haven't opened the darn thing yet because, again, technical difficulties when I was trying to get on there. My computer got a little cranky for some reason.
that can definitely happen. So how'd you get into everything there?
So, Chu and I have been going to breweries for it's about 10 years now together.
Hmm.
And we started out going to a tiny little brewery close to us called, oh gosh, Prairie Crafts.
Okay.
And it was our first time checking out a brewery, and we we were so shocked. We had no idea that beer could be what it could be, and it was kind of amazing. So we started going there all the time, and after we started going there and got to know like the owners, got to know the people who worked there, got to know the customers, we thought, there's more than one of these. We got to check some more out. So after about, I mean, it's been about 9 straight years that we've been checking out breweries all over, everywhere we go. Uh,
Yeah.
and we've left the country to check them out too. I mean, we've been all over. So any chance we get, we always try to check out the breweries. And, it was during COVID, all the breweries shut down. And we were really
Hmm.
sad. Obviously, no one could go out to be safe. And when COVID ended, Prairie Crafts didn't come back. And
Oh.
that hit us hard. It hit us really hard because that place was important to us. It was our first brewery. And I don't want that to happen to the other breweries that we know and care about, the
Hmm.
places that we've really loved going to. And the best way to keep them open is to keep people in those seats.
Hmm.
So we're like, hey, we're going to all these breweries anyway. Let's tell other people how awesome these breweries are. And that's how it was born. The crafting, the actual gift making, that was just, I have to make things or I go crazy, and if I go crazy, Chew suffers. So I just like making things, and the breweries are great inspiration because
Yeah.
all of their stories are so inspiring. The people who started it, the design, the beer, like there's so much inspiration that can be pulled from that, and they're makers. I'm a maker. I'm not a beer maker. I'm a beer drinker. But I figure I can make something, show somebody else how to make something if they want to try it too. But
Mhm.
I mean, I want to give it to the breweries because they're awesome. I want them to stick around, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, COVID had its effect, and some breweries were definitely lost.
Hmm.
It was tough for them, and but some people don't realize, and a lot of guys that run breweries will tell you, there's the profit margins are pretty thin on some of their stuff they got to do. So,
Oh yeah.
getting hit with something like that can be devastating for them, depending on where they're at in the program.
Hmm.
Um, and we've seen, now I'm in Baltimore, but before I left in Cincinnati, there were a couple that definitely felt that hit there and everything, and some felt the hit before even COVID, just because craft brewing has blown up so much that competition in itself led to some of them having to close doors. So you
Yeah,
put COVID on
definitely.
top of that, it can get a little crazy there for sure. And but starting out a journey in Chicago isn't a bad thing, right? Because you've got
True.
pretty good amount of good beers up there, a lot of good breweries. Next St. Patrick's Day, you'll have the Guinness Tap House, which will be the second Guinness establishment here in the States. So I got the other one
Yep.
next to me in Baltimore. You got the other one there in Chicago.
Oh, we got to do
Um,
something dual when it opens
got
up.
to do something there. And just to bring up one of the things you're big into a lot of the caring, like you said, but not just the caring about the beer, but you recently just shaved your head last week because of the donation. And that was at one of the breweries as well. So you want to talk about that a little bit, what you did there?
Sure. I St. Baldricks is something. St. Baldricks Foundation is something I've been interested in a long time, and I always wanted to do it. And after Chu and I got married, which was September of 2019, so just before COVID hit,
Mhm.
we both had haircuts the month before our wedding. And then COVID happened, and we didn't have any more haircuts. So as we were going along, and I realized my hair was past my waist, I'm like, now's the time. I'm doing St. Baldrick's. As soon as things open up, I want to do St. Baldrick's. And I knew that St. Baldrick's did events at breweries. So I'm like, well, that fits perfect. So Metal Monkey Brewing Company was hosting a St. Baldrick's event on March 12th, and we signed up in September before. And yeah, we managed to raise $1,656 between the two of us. So we definitely raised a lot of money for the charity. Plus, Chu's hair was quite long too. He donated I'd say about 15 inches of hair, and I donated 37 inches of hair. So um,
Wow.
yeah, between the two of us, I mean, that's going to be several wigs for kids. Well, I think they'll have to pick the grays out of Choose. But I know he's watching. I saw him
Yeah.
comment, so I hope he heard that. But yeah, between the two of us, we really made a big difference, and I'm really excited about it. The event itself, the Metal Monkey event. First of
Hmm.
all, Metal Monkey, they brewed a special beer for it called Stunad, which is a donut brown. It was delicious. And they were paired up with a donut company called Stunad that came together for the beer. And they had like free donuts at the event and all this stuff. It was really, really neat to see everything come together. And they raised over 20,000 for the full event. So that's a
Wow.
huge chunk of change to help a lot of kids. St. Baldrick's focuses on uh, children's cancer research. So researching alternatives, like, I mean, everyone knows chemo and the normal things, but
Hmm.
they're researching something to really knock it out. So it's a pretty big deal, and it's pretty amazing that we got to be a part of it.
No, that's really awesome. So yeah, kudos to both of you for doing your part there and everything, which is nice. finally getting that sip of beer in too after a long day. That's nice too. So,
Oh yeah.
and for those of you watching, if you're wondering what I'm drinking, I'm actually drinking another one of the Resurrection. It is a Belgian brown ale. So, which is like the first time I really got into one of these from that style. I've never had a Belgian brown ale until this point, done by the Brewer's Art, and I got to say, I'm digging it, man. I'm really digging it. So, for the people that got here, hello to all the people watching. And for those of you watching on Facebook and Twitter, I apologize. I forgot to hit a button in the beginning. So started like a little bit late, only like a minute or two you may have missed. So you can always go back to the beginning and see that. But for somebody out there, Erie says she was early, which whoever's watching, make sure you guys note this date and time because Erie is never early to anything. And so this is just going to be proof that she can get to things early if she really puts her mind to it. So I want you to record that there. We got Eric that says cheers, fashionably late. Yeah, they go to a concert, right? We got Dave from Dave's TV, another great YouTuber that's got his stuff going down there in Florida as well. So get Dave on here at some point. And how are y'all? Erie has said as well. We got Joe from the Beer Patrol, one of my old buddies here on the beer channels. He's been doing all the stuff he can do. He's up in Buffalo, great channel. Swinging by to say hi. Can't wait to watch this back, as he can't watch live right now because he's actually working, I think, or doing some stuff there. But cheers, everyone. Let's see, you got Bart. He says, good evening, Rod, and your guest. So Bart's one of my newfound friends through beer up in New Jersey. So I'll get to see him at some point again here. There we go. Hi, Rod and Mallory. There's Chew. Chew's so formal in his title.
He's hiding downstairs. He's trying not to.
We got John H. Pierre, another beer tuber. If y'all haven't seen John, make sure to check him out. Good evening, you two, he says as well. He says, yes, I do suffer if Mallory does not get her creative juices flowing. We got Big Daddy. Cheers, Mike. And Big Daddy's right there in Chicago as well. And he actually just sent me down a beer box, so I'll be doing an unboxing. Appreciate you there, homie. And I do have something I'll be coming back your way. It's got to go get it all organized here. Enjoying discussion too. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And you're in Georgia now, but to your family and stuff down south, and to my friends I got down there as well, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, y'all be safe. Apparently you got tornado storms and stuff coming through right now. So it apparently did some wreckage over in Oklahoma and Texas. So everybody be safe. Got family and friends down there. Hopefully everything goes okay. Big Daddy's what? Sipping a PBR Extra? What? Where you at tonight? Where are you drinking a PBR Extra, Big Daddy?
Where can you even find a PBR Extra? I haven't seen one of those in forever.
He's got it somewhere up there in Chicago. Bart had one last night. Was PBR Extras going around or something? Everybody's getting the PBR Extras right now.
I guess so.
Dave says, what's up to you both as well. So appreciate you, Dave. And yeah, we're going to get into some more stuff here. And hey, Don's in the house. Don's actually overseas. I'm sorry, I'm late. I've been at my Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. So yeah. You were just sitting in for a friend, I know, Don. Don's got a great channel, so make sure you check out Don too. But during your beer journey, as you started here, and you know what, let me pull up your channel here so people can actually take a look at that as well. Whoa.
Oh, that's so meta.
I hit warp speed there for a second. Do that. Let's see. There we go. Much better. So here we got Mal's channel. And if you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. Very nicely done, of course. And all different videos. And right here, you can see where she had the longer hair up until last week. Blues and Brews at Black Lung Brewery. I think Black Lung Brewery is kind of a dangerous thing to call a brewery, though. I'm just thinking, might want to look at a different name besides that. But that's just me. I mean, maybe because I went to school in West Virginia and there's coal miners, I might not.
Actually, the owner's grandfather was a coal miner and came up here, and so there was a whole family history for why the name was that.
Yeah. But, you know, you got the different uploads. And what I like about looking at stuff on the channel, and these are kind of the uploads and the different breweries you visited, kind of in your playlist type thing. Here you are with Brian as well, and this one here when you and Brian got together. Um, and that'd be a fun time, Brian. I know Brian and Blue having them both together had to be some pretty
Oh
fun
my
times.
gosh, you have no idea. They are so fun.
Yeah.
They were amazing. They dragged us around to 4 different breweries in like 4 hours. It was fantastic. Oh, best time ever.
I'll say I don't think I've met born beer people. So usually most people have like pretty good personality and pretty entertaining. Maybe it's because the beer kicks in at a point, but usually it's a blast. But you look here, you got all different things. The 60-second sips. That's an interesting concept. So you're doing like 60-second clips, or you just like sipping and talking about a beer real quick as well.
Yeah, it's a mini review. Honestly, when you do my brewery videos, when we're
Hmm.
at the brewery, we'll try anywhere between 6 all the way up to 15 of the beers, depending on the time frame we're looking at. But I
Hmm.
realized that all of the actual beer reviews, I would talk about each beer for 3, 4, 5 minutes, like everybody else does on their channels when they're doing one beer. But I was snipping it down so much to make it fit into our whole view of the brewery.
Okay.
And I realized my beer reviews were already about 60 seconds long for each one in the brewery videos. And I was like, I think we can, I can condense, I can mentally condense when I'm trying a beer. I just have to not stumble over my tongue so much
Yeah.
and forget how to talk.
Well,
That's the trick.
the beer can have an effect on that after a point too. So
True,
yeah.
true. I try not to film more than 2 60-second sips in one day.
And so you teamed up with Don on the collaboration as well, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
nice here as well. Gotta love the winter sweaters, the Christmas sweater stuff
It's
that you got.
Alf. It's
Yeah,
Alf.
hide
That
the
was the
cats.
best.
Hide the cats.
It's
Uh,
actually Chew's sweater, but and he wanted me to let people know that that sweater belongs to him. I just borrowed it for that.
but a great fun channel. I talked about a perfectly me craft, so you would have talked about the crafting because you get into crafting as well, which is interesting because you have the beer and the craft together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always watched YouTube, huge on YouTube, and I have favorite people that I've been watching for years and years and years. Um, but I'm also a crafter. I just like making stuff. And it
Mhm.
wasn't like I only crochet or I only do cross stitch or I only paint or I only draw. I do all the things, which is why our spare bedroom doesn't have room for a bed in it because I have too many crafting supplies.
Mhm.
um, but when we started doing this, I was like, I want to, thank the breweries that are letting us film because that's super kind of them to let us come in and, film our things. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make them gifts as we do this, and because I'm not making well, there's been a couple times where I've made multiples of a craft where the craft was very difficult, so I
Mhm.
made one first and then filmed making it because I needed to run through how it was going to work first. So there's a couple that I made multiples of. But most of them it's just a one-off and it's only gifted to the brewery. I do have a couple behind me. There's a little school
Yeah,
bus back there.
let me pull you up here.
Yeah, so I have the lace bottle covers here, the little school bus, and then there's Firemaker, their Inspire sign. Now the school bus and the Firemaker sign, well, they need to get all the way to Atlanta. So I'm either going to need to ship these to someone I might know down in Atlanta to deliver them for me, or I need to go back, which I would really love to do because Atlanta was super fun.
Atlanta's a fun city. I say
Oh
you
yeah.
know somebody in Atlanta. I know you know somebody in Atlanta now. So a
Hmm.
couple people. So, but yeah, Atlanta is a fun city for sure. And have not checked out their beer scene as much. I know some of the breweries that are down there just haven't been down to check them out as of yet. But I know Blue finds some pretty good stuff down there.
Oh yeah, they have some great stuff, and I know a lot of folks are anti Untapped or for Untapped. I'm not getting into the politics of it, but they have a podcast where they talk about different beers, and
Mm,
even on there, they're talking about how Atlanta's kind of up and coming. There's a lot of great stuff coming out of there. I
yeah.
mean, Red Hair alone was really, really nice. A Schoolhouse was incredible. Oh my gosh, I love that brewery so much. They have the craziest beers, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
But we went to a whole bunch. That little cottage one that we went to with Blue and Brian, that was amazing. They had some really neat stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot going on down there. I can't wait to see where that's headed.
Yeah. I have to keep some tabs and I have to get down there at some point. It's funny. I went from Cincinnati to Baltimore. I said maybe I'll be closer to Atlanta. No, I'm actually either the same or a little bit further. I can't even I have to check the map, but it's like I said maybe I'm closer to Asheville. No, I'm about the same. So, but I can get up to the East Coast a lot easier now. So
That is true,
I want
and
to go
you've
up
got
to
a lot of great stuff up there.
oh yeah, if I want to get up to like Connecticut or something like that, I can easily do so, which is nice. But some good breweries up in Jersey and PA, New York, on the way up to that area. So at some point, definitely want to get up there and finally get to Treehouse, and finally say,
Yeah,
hey, I'm here. My luck, I'll probably show up on a day they're closed. I'll have to make sure I check ahead. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
yeah. Call ahead. Call
Yeah.
ahead.
EB's in the house says, cheers, y'all. EBZ. Erie's other half. I won't say which one is the better half out of the two. I'll let them decide that. But yeah. We got Linda in the house. Cheers, Linda. Linda was here last week from Mad River. So great to have her back again. She's the CEO out there in California. And for my friends out there on the West Coast, up in Northern California, Mad River
That was an
Brewing Company.
amazing interview.
Oh, well, thank you. It was
Absolutely
great.
amazing. I was riveted the whole time. Like, that was fantastic.
Well, we get Linda on again at some point here as well. And the project I'm working on, I'd like to get you and Linda and a couple other people. I'm not going to say who it is, but I got another great guest coming up next week that, she's going to be awesome too. So getting a little bit more women coming through on the channel, which is awesome. And I got a couple guys coming in next week that actually broke down the Italian craft beer scene. So next
Ooh,
week's going to be a busy
cool.
week. And then because we got to toss one back. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm going to have shows like every night.
Oh
So that'll be
no.
yeah. Who needs a day job, right? Just drink at night.
Yeah, just forget the day job. You're fine. You're
Yeah.
fine. You got this.
I really need that show food channel. Call me. Just send me to breweries. I'm ready. Let's go. But yeah, no, Linda's got a great thing going out there.
Mm.
For those of you that are baseball fans out in the West Coast, you go to Giants games, they're going to be having their beers out there, which will be awesome. Beer Man, I got to reach out to him. He's up in Oregon, so he gets distribution out there as well. So he'll be let him know to check out some stuff there too. But it was great, and it was just the history and stuff we talked about last week, which actually you were interested in too, because part of your background is Cherokee. So
Comanche.
Comanche, I'm sorry, Comanche. I
It's
apologize. Damn it. I'm trying to remember everything in my head. But yeah, so Comanche was part of your heritage as well. So I know you said you were kind of interested in finding out some of the stuff there too.
100%. I thought that was amazing to
Yeah.
what Native American is the first one, right? Brewery
Yeah.
that's
The first
specifically Native
major
American
baseball
founded.
contract. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing, and I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's great because again, it adds to that diversity of the whole beer world, right? You're getting another culture coming in. It's going to bring
Yeah,
in different things, and with her brewery, the cool thing is the representation all the beers are standing for and all the different things they're doing with it. So they all like have little stories behind them, which are great, and it's just an exciting thing.
well, the more and more diversity we get, the more and more cool beers we're going to find. So I'm 100% on board. We're going to get some fun stuff coming. I'm telling you what. Oh, I should warn you though, Chu just got his first brew kit.
Congrats to him.
Be
That's
afraid.
awesome.
He's
That's
going to
awesome.
blow up our garage, is what's going to happen.
Have you ever thought about trying to brew beer before? Are you going to try to brew it now since Choose got the kit?
I've thought about it. I am a baker as well. Like I love cooking and baking, which is in general the chemistry is a similar concept. But I've never considered brewing. I've always it's like oil painting. I appreciate other people's skills with oil paints. It's not
Mhm.
something that I've ever really enjoyed doing. And chemistry was my worst subject in school. So Now the baking, I can just fake it. Like I have a recipe in front of me. I never follow a recipe. I go off in
Mhm.
my own direction, and it comes out. Usually, it's edible. I mean, that's. But I like to play with flavors. I like to change things up. Even like the box cake mixes. Like
Mhm.
I won't put water in it. I'll put like chai tea in one, or I'll put like fruit juice or something just to see what happens. And it's I'm a little too creative for my own good sometimes, but
Well, see,
but
you can brew if you experiment. I was gonna say the oven's like a couple steps higher than the easy bake, right? So,
right. But with the brewing, like you have to nail the science first, which is where Chu comes in because he is the analytic guy. He can
Mhm.
see the angles and he can keep track of all the numbers and do all the things. Whereas I'm going to come in and say, "Hey, what happens if we put 4 or 5 bottle caps in there?" Because I'm not helpful. So yeah, I'm shaking the spray paint next to his brew kettle, and he's probably going to get ticked. But well, I mean that's probably why we work so well because he keeps me grounded, and I
Yeah,
pull him up out of off the ground. So it's the two of us together on that one.
that's what teamwork is, right? That's
Yeah.
what teamwork is. And yeah, I brewed for a period of time and enjoyed it. And a good book to read if Chew hasn't picked it up yet is Enjoy a Home Brewing. That's where a lot of people really start getting their insight on it. But I got more into tasting and talking about the beer more than brewing the beer, and it's only so much time in the day. So to try to brew and then try to talk about, so well, I'll let them do that, and I'll do this over here, and I'm having fun doing that. But it's a great experience when you create something. I made some. I took it to the office so people could sample. People loved it. They still ask me if I want to brew anymore when I was going in and stuff like that. It's a fun thing, but you get to experiment, like you said. I tried different things, and I was like, I got the initial beer kit, and it was kind of like, oh, their recipe sounds kind of bland. Let me do it this way, and I just jumped right in and started just doing different things and
Oh, nice.
making variations of stuff. And knock on wood, I never had a bad beer come out. At least no one told me it was bad. Everybody drank it all. So, but that's always your fear because they say, well, at some point you got to make a bad batch. I was fortunate to get through there, but it's the biggest thing with it, for Chew is just sanitation. You
Yeah.
got to make sure everything is so clean for sure. So sanitation is like the worst enemy. If anything gets contaminated, then it just destroys stuff.
I will say when he throws himself into something, he's meticulous. So it's gonna be really good. I just don't know how many batches it'll take to get there.
Yeah. Well, you'll be the
Oh, I'm
tester.
just teasing you. I know you're probably watching downstairs or listening outside the door. I'm not sure which, but
You'll be testing for them.
oh, I will. I will 100% be testing. Actually, have you watched Bramhall's channel? Bramhall Brew Reviews, I think it's called. He brews his own beer. He's out of the UK somewhere, but he brews his own beer and then talks about how he made that beer. Really fun channel.
To check out Graham Hall. Okay.
BRAM
Graham Hall. Okay.
Bramhall.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's just over 100 subscribers or so. So he started fairly recently, but I've really enjoyed his channel. He has a very soothing voice, which is lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, he brews his own and then talks about it. I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah, there's definitely some cool beer channels as we know
Oh
here on
yeah.
YouTube for sure. And so many different styles of how people present stuff too, which is great. Just like craft beer, so many different styles presented. You have different people that have their different ways of telling the stories and everything on here. So it's really great. And thank you, Erie, for putting out the Gene was asking about the link, which I have pinned up top for anybody that does need it as well. But Erie also put it in there as well. She's
Thank
one of my
you.
one of my awesome moderators out there handling business. So appreciate that. And John said he has just subscribed.
Aw, neat. Thanks.
He said, Mallory, ever go to the Beer and Barbecue Challenge in Chicago? Summer brewery and barbecue competition every August.
I actually haven't, but it sounds like a lot of fun. I have been actually Chu and I. One of our first dates was a beer and bacon tasting.
Oh, see, that's love at first sight right there.
It was fantastic. They had the different types of bacon paired up. Like they had a jowl bacon with the IPA. They had like the brown sugar sweet bacon with like the porter. Oh my gosh, this whole thing was freaking amazing.
Oh wow. It
Patty
sounds
Long's, that's the bar. It's in one of the suburbs, but Patty Long's. But you have to sign up way in advance now. You used to be able to walk into it, but people heard about it. And well, now you have to, schedule in
yeah.
advance.
Or know
But oh my
somebody.
gosh,
Yeah.
it's so much fun.
Have
But
you
I want to
ever
do that one. The
have
beer
you ever
garden.
have you ever like looked at doing a video with beer tasting?
I'm
Have you
sorry.
ever thought
Can you repeat the question? She
was
was
that you?
talking to me from the doorway.
Does he not know we're live right now? Like
He does, but he wanted to say also he's won chili cook-offs, so he's
oh, he's
very,
won chili cook-offs.
but he always uses beer in his chilies. Like
Oh,
that's a huge thing for him. So he was
I use
throwing
beer
that
in my
in
chili. I
too.
actually got a video on my channel where I did the beer chili. So
Hmm.
beer and chili is a good thing.
Oh yes.
But
Could you repeat the question though? I'm sorry.
yeah. Thanks, Chew. Thanks, Chew. No. Beer parents. Have you ever thought about doing any videos? Have you looked at doing that at any of the places you went to, or like kind of
Um,
pairing up some stuff there?
I've definitely considered it.
Hmm.
And some of the breweries do have food available, and a
Hmm.
lot of the other ones who don't have food available allow you to bring food in. So it's
Hmm.
definitely an option for the future. Um, However, my videos are between 25 and 30 minutes long for the brewery tours.
Hmm.
I have 4 to 5 hours of footage that I trim down to 25 to 30 minutes.
Some
And I'm a
editing.
little nervous about adding in extra at this point in time. If I can figure out a way to finagle it down a little lower, maybe. But right now, I'm killing myself to get these that short.
Yeah.
So,
You would
but
do like
yeah,
a
like I could do one for one of the home brews. I think I might do that for one of the home brews. We have a series of videos that's home brews too, where I am introducing a friend who's not necessarily into craft beer
hmm
to craft beer. So I ask them what their favorite beer is. I get 4 to 6 other beers of that style, and then say, "Hey, we're going to try a bunch of beer together. Can you do it on camera?" And they're like, "Okay, but I can't watch it." And I say, "Okay, you don't have to watch yourself. Other people will watch you. If you're cool with that, we're good." And they're like, "Okay." So both of the homebrews I've done so far, my friend Lindsay and my friend Philip, neither of them have actually watched their video because they're terrified to see themselves on camera. But they did agree, and I gave them free beer, and they seem okay with it.
oh,
So
free beer is good currency for a lot of people. So yeah,
that's
that
what I pay
definitely
my
works.
cameraman in.
So when you go out, like, do you like to like create pairings when you have beer? Like, do you go to restaurants and you'll like order a beer matched up to what you kind of eat? Have you done that, or do you like to do that? Or
I have done that with beer, with wine, with whatever I'm having usually, but choosing something that's compatible.
yeah,
Definitely. I have to have a Mexican lager when I'm having tacos. I cannot have anything else. If someone tried to give me a porter and I was having tacos, I would say, "I'm sorry, I cannot do that." And I never turn down a beer. But now it has to be specific, or I'll take off colors beer for tacos. They did okay. I will go with that one.
All Color does some pretty good stuff. So
Oh
although I've
yeah.
only had their stouts, but their stouts are really tasty. So
They have this Apex Predator. Oh, that one just rocks my socks. I love it.
yeah. Now, which one is that? An IPA or
Yeah, it's an
yeah,
IPA,
yeah,
but and I mean, it's hoppy. It makes me make a face. That is
no.
true. But man, I like that beer.
Let me ask you this then, because we talk about some of the stuff as far as women in beers like that, and everything. So I've talked to women in the past on different things, and there's always a little bit of surprise. Well, sometimes it's a surprise when they go to some breweries or something like that, and they ask like, "What would you offer?" A lot of times, I'll try to throw the fruity beers at the women or something like that, and everything, or something a little light. But a lot of them are like, "No, I want an IPA or something like that." And everything. Like, have you ever like when you ordered IPA, like felt anything, or was it kind of just like they went ahead
you
and just
know,
got it, or was it already surprised when you ordered an IPA? Like,
the breweries, I haven't had that much issue. It was, well, it's when I go and order a scotch at a bar that I get looks. I'm a scotch drinker. I've always, since I was 20 years old. I've been a Scotch. Oh wait, am I allowed to say that? Oh well.
Well,
I
sure.
was 20 years old. I started being a Scotch drinker.
Yeah.
Went to Scotland on a college trip. We were singing in cathedrals for our choir. But I brought home some little bottles of scotch for my father, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to drink that. I don't like scotch." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll drink them." And I fell in love,
Mm-hmm.
and I've loved it ever since. I get more looks when I order a scotch, especially if I order it neat. They look at me a little odd. So
That's
because I
interesting.
don't do rocks for my scotch because that ruins it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as the craft breweries go, I gotta say I haven't run into a lot of resistance as
Okay.
far as like weird looks or anything from people. Now, when I'm saying, "Hey, I'm doing a craft beer tourism channel. Can we film here?" Then they look at me funny because, well, that's an odd request anyway. But also, a lot of times they actually I have had where they've slightly turned and looked at you, like looking for affirmation. That
What are
has
you at an
happened on
auto
occasion.
dealership or something like? Yeah.
But usually when I'm asking, Chu tries to, disappear off to the bathroom or something because he's like he's an introvert. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to be there when I'm asking because it's awkward and weird. I still haven't quite nailed down how to ask in a clean, comfortable way. In fact, at Schoolhouse, when I was there with Brian,
Hmm.
he and I were, myself and Chu were all having a beer before asking because I hadn't asked yet. I had to use the restroom. I came back and Brian had already asked if we could film there and was like setting up his camera too. I'm like, oh, well, frick. Okay, let's go. I didn't even get that far. That's neat. That was kind of lovely.
But see, that was kind of like you asked. I don't ever ask at all. Maybe because of my background or something. We've always believed it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. So
Yeah.
we just go ahead and start setting up, and I have people will come over like, "Hey, what's going on?" It's like, "Oh, I'm shooting a beer video for blah blah." Oh, really? And then I have people like that sit in sometimes from the places I actually shoot at and stuff too. But um, that's nice that you're polite. You ask and all that kind of stuff, and I, it's kind of bad. I mean, it's definitely bad. Like I don't know what they turn and look ask you like. It's kind of like you know. And
It's
I
not all
mentioned,
the time, it's just once in a while.
yeah,
But to be honest, a lot of the breweries we've been to lately,
hmm,
they have female tap room
hmm,
managers. Like, so we're running into that less and less.
hmm,
Now, admittedly, the owners and the brewers and everything that I've been meeting and interviewing, most of them are men. I mean,
yeah,
I haven't had too many interviews with women who are in management positions within the breweries.
sure,
But it's coming. It's coming. And I know I want to film Eris Cidery, which is female owned. And I wanted to do Twisted Hippo, but they actually just had a fire 2 weeks ago. So all the breweries in
mm,
Chicago are kind of coming together to raise money to help out Twisted Hippo now.
yeah. I
Because
think I read
like
about
the
that one
apartment
too.
building
Yeah,
next door lit up and they went down completely. It was really bad. So
terrible. Yeah,
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 but there's only like two, three female owned ones in the city, so it's hunting them down, right?
yeah. And
Getting.
I think that's common for a lot of the areas.
Mhm.
I haven't looked at fully yet into the here in Baltimore, but I haven't heard of any that people I've talked to or seen. In Cincinnati, I think there might have been one that was about to start before I left, but we had 60 something plus breweries there, and you really didn't run into it. Now, you had some women that were in some of the management type roles, but as far as being out there, kind of the ownership type thing, or
Yeah,
you just didn't really see it as much. So,
yeah, that's a whole different animal,
yeah.
definitely.
Which again, I always say, that's the weird thing about the industry because it was started by women, so you expect to have more women
Right.
involved. Actually, you would have, but it is what it is.
It was
It's
started
how
by women. It was started by the church.
yeah, it's how capitalism rolls. I mean,
It was
what
all
are you gonna
nuns and monks to start,
do?
right?
Yeah. Oh, Big Daddy said my barbecue team is the barbecutioners. We do it every year. Oh, that's cool. So if
I
you go there,
love
you can see
that.
Big Daddy there grilling out as well.
Chew, make a note. I know you're watching downstairs. You make a note of that because we gotta go.
Get that to your assistant pronto.
Yep.
I need to get this on my calendar.
I have a notebook sitting here. I just don't have a pen, so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh crud, I can't make a note.
And hello to Vanessa as well.
Hi.
Vanessa's in the house. She said Treehouse only 50 miles from me. Yeah, she's right up there in the Northeast. So she has a lot of good stuff around her. But she still loves her Dragon's Milk and her Guinness Foreign Extra. Let's see, Gene said, I agree about Red Hair, really good beers from the brewery because he's actually in Georgia now too. So
Cool.
definitely check him out if you get back down there again. He'll be down there probably around that area. Dave's have a great evening. I have to go. Cheers, Dave. Thanks for swinging by, my friend. Good to see you.
Are you seeing this, Red?
Oh, the assistant's on break.
He brought me pens so that I could write it down instead of him writing it down.
He's like, I'm on break right now.
Actually, if you could bring me another beer, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then Vanessa says she's part CO. Sue, I don't know why it says CO because I've known Sue my whole life, but Sue here.
He brought me pens that don't work, just so you know.
Bad assistant. Although mostly Danish and English. New England currently is cooking the syrups. Interesting. Let's see here. Chu said, thanks for the tip on the book. Oh, you're welcome, Chu. You're welcome. That was the first book I read when I started getting into brewing, and everybody, pretty much swears by as the Bible of brewing. Like the Joy of Home Brewing is the one that really gets you up and going and stuff. And there's some other good books out there too since that time, but it's kind of like, I don't know, see, it's the OG of the books, so to speak. Barn Hall Backroom Brewery, Don.
That was it. Thank you, Don. I couldn't remember the exact name.
Yeah. I kind of like that name there.
His logo is all pencil drawn. It's really cute. I love it.
Got Dr. Didi in the house, my buddy down there in Charlotte. What up, Rod? Cheers, all. Cheers, my friend. He's a big golfer when he's not doing the medical stuff.
Oh. She wants me to tell you that he's having Le Soul 25. It is a wild sour from Unane.
Oh, wild sour. What's the ABV on that one?
ABV is...
I like a wild sour.
Not listed. No, it's got to be listed.
No,
it's
you would think
listed.
You would think that, and that's one of my pet peeves. Not all breweries put ABV on. Where'd you find it?
I think it was about a 7, if I remember correctly. Okay. But it's a wild ale fermented with mango and raspberry. This one is.
Oh, very nice.
And he just brought me from Metal Monkey Brewing Company, a Furious George.
Oh, well played.
Which is an APA. So.
Tell him. I can hear him, right? So you might as well come on camera.
Brad said, I can hear him, right? No. He's whispering when he's in here. It's cute.
Ron said, what's your favorite? Welcome, Ron, as well. Sut, my buddy. What's your favorite lager overall? Do you have a favorite lager overall?
I do. Liquid Love Brewing Company, saw them at the Fireside. The first time I tried it, I fell in love, and I wanted to drink nothing but that and sit around a campfire for the rest of my life. Like, that's how good it was.
You remember
exactly what I wanted.
You remember what style it is as well, or?
No, just it's like Bud Light, but better.
Okay, so it's like an American adjunct type lager. Okay.
Yeah, and it made me so happy. I felt like home drinking that beer. Yeah. So. Every time I'm back there at Liquid Love, which actually is in the same building where Prairie Crafts used to be, the very first brewery we went to together.
Yeah.
And I think one of the brewers from Prairie Crafts works at Liquid Love. So, But yeah, we fell in love with that one. So, big fan.
Now, do you get into any of the domestics? Any of the domestics that you end up drinking? Like they're like a cheap American, like you'll grab sometimes, like just to have, whether it's a Budweiser or a Coors or
I can tell you right now, Chew always has Bud Light in our fridge. That
Okay.
is always in our fridge. Um, my my sister lives by Coors, or no, it's not Coors. Chew always thinks it's Coors, but it's a different one that's like Coors that has corn on the
It's
whole
not
big
Mil.
thing.
Is it Miller?
No, it wasn't Miller. Maybe it was Coors. She's gonna kill me if she
Is
finds
it
out
like
I
the
couldn't
yellow? Is
remember
it the
her beer.
yellow cores, like the yellow can cores?
He's
Not the
shouting from
not
downstairs, but I can't hear him.
not the silver bullet, not the silver bullet be their light beer. I'm gonna like the Bud Light.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, I mean,
Bush Light.
Bush Light, Bush
Bush Light.
Light. Yes,
Bush. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So there's that one. Which when I'm with her, that's what I drink. It's
Yeah.
I don't have to have craft beer all the time, and honestly, Chew enjoys having a Bud Light now and again. To he
Yeah.
calls it cleansing the palate, but it's
It's like
like
water.
well, he likes having a beer that he doesn't have to think for.
Yeah.
Like when I'm having a beer, I'm usually always thinking, and sometimes I just don't want to think. So I go back to my classics. Like I go back to Fat Tire. I don't
There
have
you
to
go.
think for that beer because I've had it for years and I love it. I have always loved it.
Yeah.
So, but he just happens to go to Bud Light for that, or every once in a while we'll buy a 6 pack of Mickey's just for fun, or Smirnoff Ice. You never know what you're
Mickey's.
going to find in our fridge. Honestly, we will pick up random stuff at all times, just because
I
it's
feel like
all
I need
there.
that.
And PBR is great. We enjoy a
Yeah.
PBR on occasion. Well,
I,
that's not
I,
great, but you know what I mean.
well, no, I'll get a PBR once in a while. Some place I'll go to, it'll be like, $2 PBR, 25 ounce drafts like that, and everything. And once in a while, you're like, oh, give me a PBR. It's just nice, easy one. Like you said, you don't have to think about it. You know what you're going to get because it's always the same. You just knock it back without a prayer in the world, just easily
Hmm.
drinking. So, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys that are brewers that, you'll go in there and you might see them having a Bud Light or something around as well. They don't drink all craft beer all the time, too. They're like, if we drank all that all the time, we'd be even bigger than we are right now.
Right.
Working, yeah. So they also do some of the same stuff there. You might have a Heineken or something like that that might be a little lighter, and they still like. I mean, there's always a room. There's room for just about every beer out there that you can put in some spot or another. So
Yeah. No, I have definitely noticed a slight weight change since I started the channel.
mhm.
Um, just in that, well, I mean, it's a lot of calories, and honestly, I have a desk job, so I sit a lot. So the exercises had to step up a bit because
Sure.
I mean, I want to stay healthy. I don't want to kill my knees or anything, or you know,
Yeah.
keep myself in smooth working condition. It's
Yeah.
important,
Well, that's
but
like we say, earn your beer, right? So
there's a
you're
lot
working
of
out and stuff.
calories
So
in
yeah,
those.
yeah,
Especially as much as I love the milkshake IPAs, I can't help myself.
yeah.
I know it's probably a fad and it's probably going away. That's what I keep hearing from
I
everybody.
don't know. I don't
But
know. It's like you've
man,
been there
I
for a while
really
now.
like them. It's
I,
dessert
I
in a glass.
I don't see them going away as of yet myself. I've seen like a fad was like the brute IPA. You saw those come in and go out really quickly.
Mm.
Some places still have them out there, but you don't see
Yeah,
them as much as they were before. Like the milkshake, people really do like those, especially the ones that don't really like that full bitterness or maltiness from like a beer. They can get
yeah,
that, and it's almost like they feel like they're drinking some type of fruity type drink or something. So
right.
they don't even taste like, they don't even look like beer sometimes when you have those. So
No, they look like a smoothie.
yeah, yes, Gilbert. I thought Ron Burgundy as well. What Mallory think?
I
Said
saw your
Scott.
comment earlier, and it definitely made me crack up in the middle of Red saying something that wasn't funny. So that was probably awkward if anyone caught it. But I saw Scotchy Scotch or Scotchy Scotch, and I was like, yes, that's yes.
We all got love for Ron Burgundy around here. Blake, cheers. Enjoying the show. Cheers, homie.
Cheers.
Appreciate you. He's having 100 proof vodka with blue Hawaiian punch, diabetes in a cup. Wolford Brimley's going to be knocking on the door here in a second.
So, Rod, I haven't had Furious George from
Okay.
Metal Monkey before. This is literally my first time trying this beer because I just picked it up a few days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I just smelled it. And, whew, there's a lot of hop in that.
So what are you getting out from the hops on that one? Are you getting like
Amarillo.
citrus? You get Amarillo? Okay.
It's Amarillo. It's
Yeah.
straight up like in my nose. Whoa. Actually, the cat at their brewery is also named Amarillo, which I thought was cute.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hop.
So you get like a pretty good amount of bitterness up front on it.
A little bit. Yep.
A little bit.
I still make a hoppy face. I try not to, and my father laughs at me nonstop because he lives for the hoppy beers. Like I got him Tony's Car, which was from Metal Monkey Brewing Company, and it's 110 IBUs. I got him that one, and he's like, "This is one of the best beers I've ever had." And I'm thinking, God, I could barely get through a 5-ouncer. Because it's an awful lot of hop. Like after the first few sips, I'm fine. I can taste the other flavors then. The first couple sips, I still haven't gotten over that hop hump to be able to. Yeah.
Well, you think of Amarillo as kind of almost like a ramped up version,
Yeah.
say like a Cascade or whatever. But it's like, yeah, it can definitely punch you in the face.
Yeah. There's a reason this is called Furious, George, I think.
George ain't happy on that one.
Yeah. Citrusy and delicious. Honestly, I'm getting the other flavors now, and it's a really good beer.
Yeah.
But definitely had a little bit of a face there.
Well, that's the whole good thing too. As as it warms up, it definitely comes out a little bit more for sure. The other flavors in the background, and let's see, fries and up. Fry from overseas over as well. Morning, Roger, looking good, young man. I'll take that any day of the week. Yeah, he shaved his gray off.
No, he was talking to me, Rod.
Oh. It's the haircut.
It is. I know. I fool people all the time now.
Todd says, "Cheers, bottom out. I totally forgot this was tonight." Todd, how do you forget? How do you forget?
Todd.
You're gonna hear about that Thursday.
He was out buying curtains. It's fine.
Yeah, he's still in the Indiana, being out of the tournament type thing, so he's still in a little bit of a fog. Actually, the surprise for Indiana got in, so. Got James in the house. Howdy, folks. So again, Chicago representing. So James is right there in Chicago too. Let's see here. Beer for Dummies and Brewing for Dummies by Marty Natural. We used to do brewery tours together. He judges beer competitions, very knowledgeable. Yeah, I actually did read the Beer for Dummies before. Tasting Beer by Randy Mosher is another great book to pick up. That's kind of being seen kind of as the new, I said maybe like a New Testament versus an Old Testament of the older type stuff, but people really get into that one. Speaking of like the Bible type stuff, I was actually trying to still finish the Beer Bible, but the Beer Bible is a good one to have because you can read any part of it for the knowledge you're looking for, so you don't have to read it from cover to cover. So it's really broken up nicely on different things. So many different things out there. And of course, anything, as people first said when I started doing a lot of the beer stuff, like from Michael Jackson, some of the older books that he had done. And if you're not familiar for people watching Michael Jackson, not the performer, but the beer.
No. The beer one, not the music one.
We're not talking Billie Jean or Thriller here, so yeah. But a lot of good stuff.
That would be an interesting book too. If you want to read that, go for it.
But yeah, but a lot of good stuff out there. It's all about getting that knowledge, and that's how you really grow with a lot of it here. So speaking of knowledge, are you thinking about doing different things, like getting a part of, or any of the Cicerone type stuff, or beer judging? Or are you kind of looking at those angles, or right now you're just happy just doing what you're doing with the beer?
So for me, the Cicerone is something I've thought about. Mm-hmm. But it's not something I want to do just yet because I'm still kind of discovering my palate.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm kind of working through it, because I'm studying on my own too. Before, I've held several different types of jobs over the years, and one of them I worked for a company named Tivana. I don't know if anyone's familiar.
Yeah. Actually, we got Tivana. I got a Tivana mug in there, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
So I worked there for a few years, and we had 98 different flavors of tea on the back wall when I
Mm-hmm.
worked there. When you work there, you have to know every single ingredient to every single tea behind you. Because if someone's allergic to strawberries, you can't show them a strawberry tea. You can't show them any tea that might have strawberry seeds in it. So you have to be, know your scents and your flavors. And then I
Mm-hmm.
would have people coming in saying, I want a tea that tastes like a birthday cake. Okay. And I would take 4 different teas down off the wall and make them a tea that tastes like a birthday cake based on those flavors and how they're going to blend together. Um, you'll have to DM me for the recipe because I have to look it up. But I do have that recipe still, and I also could make a chocolate chip cookie. I could make a blueberry muffin. I could make a lemon scone, all out of tea flavors, blending different tea flavors to have that. So,
Wow.
and they all brew at different temperatures at different times. Your matchas have to do like 60 seconds at 180 degrees, but your uh, black teas are going at 220 for 4 minutes. But you have to be
Yeah.
careful because if you burn it, it's going to get bitter. And oh my gosh, whole bunch of stuff. So I got really into tea for a while. Before that, I was into scotch. Before that, I was into coffee to the point where I could try a coffee and tell you what country it was from. I
Wow.
I really I've been a super taster my whole life, and I really enjoyed just tasting things. I like foods. I like baking. I like drinks. I like just trying all the things because it's boring to not try things.
That's true.
so so yeah. When I started getting into the craft beer because of Prairie Crafts Brewing in brewery in Buffalo Grove, Illinois, um, I got to try a lot of cool stuff, and I realized, hey, there's a whole new thing here.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cicerone is something I may go for at a later time. However,
Mm-hmm.
we are only 9 months in. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. I know we don't have hardcore fans enough to have noticed that I am 2 weeks behind on my crafting videos. So I am on this Thursday. I'm releasing Schoolhouse Brewing, which came out, last month because I'm a little behind and I still have to get ahead on some of these crafting videos. And not to mention, I had a 100 sub giveaway at which Brian the Beer Snob won my 100 sub giveaway.
Oh.
And I have his craft that I need to actually mail to him because I haven't even gotten around to doing that yet. So yeah, I'm a little behind.
Welcome to the world of YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
like I mean, some people, when some people watch sometimes the YouTube stuff, and there's a thing where there's a lot of stuff that we do, like behind the scenes and getting stuff ready and preparing so that people don't see, but it can become almost a second job, if not a second job, depending on how big you become. I do the beer channel here, and I do the reaction channel, and I actually have a man. This one and the reaction channel are probably too big. It's the gaming channel I do, but it's more like live stream stuff.
Mhm.
But now that the reaction channel's got more momentum behind it, just trying to keep up on comments and do stuff on that one, and then do stuff on the beer one. I mean, and then you're planning stuff out, you're shooting video, you're editing, you're doing a lot of things. So it's not easy, to try to get that stuff all put together, and then to say, oh, I want to go get a Cicerone on top of this, or try to go for this, or go for
Yeah.
that, or be a beer judge. And yeah, it's time. If I had kids, I wouldn't be doing it. So it's kind of like you wouldn't have time. It's just it
Yeah.
makes it. I mean, I would say some people have kids that do the beer stuff, but it's a matter of what you would. For what I want to do, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have time. It's just be too
Mhm.
crazy. But
No, I think I might go for the Cicerone at some point. And oh my gosh, being a beer judge would be super fun.
yeah.
I would love to do that. Sounds like a blast.
But even
But
if you go,
at the moment, I don't have time.
well, even if you just start out for the Cicerone, because a lot of people will go, they'll just get the certified beer server,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first step of the whole
Yeah.
thing, and then you can go to the next level to get your basic like Cicerone thing, which is that one before you go to an advanced or try to do. I mean, the master is only 20 people in the world.
Right.
20 have just got it. So that is 85% pass rate, harder than the bars for many of the states here for law.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in it, but I'm not in it that far that I would like push up. But to get some of the other knowledge, the other
I
credentials.
might be in it that far eventually. Not
Eventually.
eventually, maybe, because I think that would be cool. I mean, I've been a taster of many things, and I
Yeah.
would like to be a master taster of something. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So
No, I
that
mean,
that could be a thing someday.
think about it. All the people in the world only. Now, granted, it's more an American thing, so we'd have to look at really here. But I think one of the master thrones is overseas or whatever. But only 20 people have it,
Yeah, I
so
know.
it's not like it's an easy thing to actually do between the different testing and
Do you
stuff.
know if
But
there's any women in there yet?
yes, I think one of the women
Good.
was like 18 or 19 that got it, I believe. So yeah, it's
I'm happy to hear that.
yeah. Because I remember like it was like on LinkedIn, I think and I think she's on one of my things, but I saw where she I think passed it for that and everything. And at the time, like I said, it was like number 18 or number 19, and then the 20th was a guy that I saw that had just gotten it done. So it's
Yeah.
no easy task. I mean,
No.
because just like when you do the first one for the certified beer server is just having the knowledge of knowing how to serve the beer, knowing how to
Hmm.
do this and doing that. The second one, you're doing off flavors, like for
Oh
your
yeah.
basics, and a lot of times the stuff that we've done, we're kind of there already. We can tell when something's
Yeah.
not right, and we know what's coming through. But then you're also doing some oral type stuff with it too, and some blind type stuff. And then the next one is even doing more things. And I was looking at one of the questions earlier because on LinkedIn and Cicero, they put out different things that test questions if you're getting your Cicero. And it was like, this beer is a IBU range of blah, 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 SRM range of blah, blah, blah. It's a lager. It's, what did it say? It was something else it said, but then it said, do you know what it is? It's like from Bamberg. And then they
Hmm.
asked, do you know what it is? And I'm
Yeah.
like, can I phone a friend? Like I'm one clue away, right? And then
I
like
have a
let's say,
friend in Bamberg. I'm gonna call them right now.
what would you think that beer would be if you could
God,
take a
I
guess?
I have no idea.
It's like it's just like that's all I get. Like not even multiple choice. If you get multiple choice, you get stuff in front of you. No, these are like open answer questions. It ended up
Yeah.
being the rock beer, which I love that style, but it said nothing
Oh,
about the smokiness, which would have been a
which
giveaway
would have
for
been a
me.
dead
Would have
giveaway.
been,
But
and so
I love a Roush beer.
yeah, yeah. And then it's like,
I love them very much. So
and
yeah,
I'm
I never
thinking,
would have known.
and then it's like, oh shit, they are like from Bamberg region. Now I think about it, but it's like, why do you give me the smokiness? That would have been the one to give me. That would have been a clue. But yeah,
Yeah,
so they got tricks on the Cicerone test. But
they certainly do.
people just know they look at it, and I've looked through some of the stuff like in the Beer Bible and tasting beer because they give you the styles, the SRMs, all kind of stuff, and to know those numbers, like you said, the 98 T's, that's what you're doing
Hmm.
with all these different styles of beer,
Yeah,
to be able to pull it out like that. But like you just did, you pulled it right out of the bat, like knowing it was Amarillo, which is great because a lot of people wouldn't be able to guess what kind of hop they might be using in that. So you definitely got a talent there too.
and the problem is I haven't been. I experience a lot of hops, but every time I'm experiencing hops, it's always in beer. I have not separated out the ingredients and really like smelled just Cascade or smelled just Century or smelled just the different hops, like, and I think that would really up the game if I actually like ordered some of the ingredients and started really breaking it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I really think that would make a difference, especially with the IPAs, because I get blinded by the hop at first, but then
Hmm.
I really can break it down. It's fine, and I mean I can recognize some of them, like, but there are some hops that I don't recognize, that I don't know well enough to recognize. I can
Right.
pick out Mosaic, I can pick out Citra, I can pick out Amarillo, I can pick out uh, Cashmere are my favorite. The
Mm.
Cashmere hops, I live for any beer with Cashmere hops in it. I love it. But in Galaxy, but
Yeah.
there's not too many others that I can pick out immediately,
Yeah.
and I think I need to work on that a little bit, definitely. So because there's a lot of hops out there.
Well, the one thing with you having a kit and he starts brewing, you'll be able to do that and see some of the hops. But that was one of the cool things when I was brewing. You go to a store and you get the brew stuff and you just got the hop stuff and you're picking up the hops and you're smelling the different hops. And like one of the hops I really liked brewing, which was Warrior Hop. I wouldn't have known unless I went to the store and kind of came across what this hop was. And so you
Yeah.
get that, and you get some of the other hops, like from over the UK, like the Gold is. It's just so many different styles that are there. And you're
Hmm.
just like an experience, and it's kind of like because hops are basically the cousins to weed, right? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like if you were in a weed shop, you'd be checking out different strains. You're doing the same thing with the hops to get the right flavor and stuff out. So that weed comment was just for Blake out there, my homie. So
It wasn't just for Blake.
yeah, no, there's a few others, I'm sure. Gilbert said my go-to is Delirium Tremens, Great
Oh,
Crunch. Yeah, can't go
that
wrong with
one.
Delirium. Yeah, yeah,
No,
Delirium. Yeah,
I've never had a bad glass of that. I'm always happy. Even all the weird ones that they do, like they have the Christmas one and the red one, and they've all they're all good. They'll knock
let's
you on the
see.
floor, but they're good.
Then sipping Ducks Fly Together by Beguile
Oh,
Brewing,
beguiled's
also
fun.
Chicago. Yeah, dry hop lager, tastes like a pale ale. He does like a lot of the lagers, I know James does, and that's one of the things I got into a few years back. They started hopping up the lagers, which I really like. Cause more of a house person. I'm more of an ale person. Now I've got my favorites in the lagers. When I first started out, I was definitely more heavy ale, and when they started coming out with the hop lagers, I really started getting into them a little bit more. Todd
I
said
like the
bitter.
dry hopped lagers. I think that makes a big difference to me. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah. Well,
Hmm.
you get that last opportunity to get the hops in there, so it
Yeah,
stays
just a
fresh
little hint
and that's
of it.
part
It's
of it.
like nice. Oh, what are you pouring?
Yeah.
What are you pouring?
And Todd said bitter beer face too. You made that face earlier. Funny how that was a commercial back in the day. They were like, "Don't drink that beer; it's too bitter." Now everybody's making a bitter beer face.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I remember the bitter beer phase. That's been a
yeah.
while.
So I think where you're at, you get to Claw Brewing as well.
Hmm.
So this is their patriarchy and the Irish cream dessert stout. So I had one last week for
I remember,
St.
yeah.
Patty's. Yeah, so
I
I got
haven't
the
tried Duclaw yet, though.
yeah, DeCall's got some pretty neat stuff. This is kind of a interesting series. Sometimes they nail it, sometimes it's a little like, yeah. But this one really comes through very nicely as like this Irish cream stout. You get that nice feel of it, has a nice creaminess to it. 9.4 ABV. And the Patriarchy series, this is number 22, but I like to see what they're experimenting with. They also have another one called the Sour Me series where they do different sour ones as well. So those are like the
Nice.
two limited series they're actually running outside of some of their regular stuff. Some people know them from their peanut butter beer, Sweet Baby Jesus. Um, when that came out, I got it because I said, "Who can't use more Jesus in their life?" Right?
Right,
So that was automatic.
right. There's a brewery by me. Will was it Will County Brewing? I think it was Will County. They did "Don't F with the Jesus" was one of their breweries, and I was like, oh yeah, I need a 4 pack of that to take home. I got that and Bam Bam Loves Pebbles,
Yeah.
which those two I was like, no, I need these in my home. In my home, I love the beer names. Always so fun.
Hello, Sweet. Welcome. Sweet actually comes over from my gaming channel as well. Great to see you, my friend. And JV's in the house, another great channel. Cheers. And JV always has some fun stuff. JV should have a job like doing advertising for companies because he makes these crazy commercials up from people's stuff. He did one on McDonald's and the McRib using John and Nelly, who's also down in Georgia. And he just did one for Blake as well, and a T-shirt for Blake. He's like, great channel to check out. If you don't want to laugh, check out JV's Hangout. He has so much good stuff. Plus, he's one hell of a guitar player. He puts
Oh
up some great
wow,
guitar solos and everything too. So
fun.
yeah, he does a Friday night like live. He does with everybody too. It's a blast. So and guess what? They drink too, so it all works out. Oh, total failure. Yeah, you know stuff. Tom's been fighting insomnia the last few days. So as long as you're getting back to your old self, that's all that matters.
He's still one of my favorites, and he still makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
Todd, you are super hilarious all the time.
We
You
might be
crack
due
me
for
up.
we might be due for Shannon back this week. We'll have to see. Everybody's jealous of the famous Curtis.
Oh, oh, oh,
Yeah. We got a Chew sighting.
oh goodness.
I think I saw an elbow from Chew that time.
Yeah, you saw his elbow. What is this? Hold on. He brought me two. Hold on. Courage, Fader aged sour ale with peaches and apricots. Who is this
Ooh.
from? Oh, this is New Holland.
Oh.
New Holland's
The
good.
Journey series. And then Irish Red Ale from called the Knot from Phase 3 Brewing.
Oh, I've heard good things about Phase 3.
Oh, I love Phase 3. They're actually one of my top 3 breweries right now. I love them. And we see a lot of breweries, but Phase 3 is top 3 for me. I kind of want to save the New Holland for the next time we go to Zoom Beer for the bottle share.
Okay.
Because I think they're going to really enjoy that.
I'll say, Chew knows it's only Tuesday night, right? He brought that big bottle in, like, crack this open.
No, he just knows my drinking habits. I can hold my own pretty well. So,
Yeah.
according to Brian and Blue, apparently.
Hey, you did well. You did well. So he, you mentioned that your top. So what do you like your top 5 breweries right now? Then that you.
Oh, top 5. Oh goodness.
I figured you gave us one, so I just do top 5 because I mean.
Hardest thing for me on top 5 is my mood changes.
It does.
And what I want changes with my mood. So sometimes if I want a milkshake IPA or a kick butt IPA, I will hit up Phase 3 every time. Their milkshake IPAs, their Chantilly series, knocks me on the floor. I love every inch of that brewery. I mean, they do everything else fine too, but they're definitely, I'd say in the top 3. I can't say they're number 1 necessarily, but they're definitely in the top 3. Hop Butcher will always have a place in my heart. Their New England IPAs just rock the house. And for that matter, Noon Whistle, as much as everyone talks about Hop Butcher, Noon Whistle is rocking the New England IPAs. Oh my God. Their menu was 3 pages. 3 pages of small print. It was insane. Like
how many taps do they run at their brewery?
I think it was 27 taps.
Okay.
I know I said it in the video, but I can't recall exactly. It was over 20 though. But they had 3 pages for their menu, and I'd say at least a third of those were New England IPAs. And they rock them every time. Noon Whistle really does a nice job with that. So they'd probably be in my top 5 as well. Liquid Love would be in my top 5 because it's, the same brewer who was at Prairie Crafts. It's the same building that was Prairie Crafts, and the owners are the same. So there's a soft spot in my heart for that forever. They're doing a lot of the smoothie sours, which is more Chew's favorite style, or Chew's into the sours, like the really sour sours right now. But I really enjoy the desserty type beers, so I really enjoy that too. New Holland.
Oh yeah.
New Holland, man. It's freaking New Holland. What else can I say? It's freaking New Holland.
New Holland. Like what else is there to put after that? I mean,
so we did go to their brewery once since we've started our channel, and I was too embarrassed to ask them to film because they're so big and I was so little. I had like 40 subscribers at the time, and I'm like, they're never going to, because they have their own marketing team. If they have their own marketing team, I'm scared to say, hey, can I, do a thing? So I definitely chickened out when we were there, even though we each did 2 flights separate from each other. Chew had 8 different dragon milks.
I mean, you go to New Holland, you might as well. Yeah.
8 of them. They had 8 different dragon milks on tap. Think about this, people. 8 different dragon's milk. It's insane. It's insane. Every single one, they're 5-ounce glasses, and each of them is, a 12%er because they're all barrel aged. Yeah. I had to roll 2 to the car. No, admittedly, I had a few, so I was literally swerving him as I was rolling him. So we were all over. But No, it's just ridiculous. No, we didn't drive drunk. Don't nobody do that ever. We
Drink
went to a
responsibly.
restaurant 2 doors down and we ate and we drank
Sobered
water
up.
until we were
Yeah,
good to go. So nobody drink and drive. It's not good.
not at all.
But if you get a chance to go to New Holland, holy crackers, you
Oh,
must.
I'm doing Dragon's Milk if I go to New Holland. Like, how many variants you got?
Oh man, it was nuts. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
They let us have 4 flights brought to our table at once.
Hmm.
4. Like
You weren't the first, I'm sure.
I know, but I mean, I feel like there should be rules in place when you have that much ABV on the table. Somebody should be stepping in and saying, "Hey, what's up, guys?" Because wow, that was a lot.
Yeah. Well, I know
We had
some of
fun though.
their variants. Again, I feel like I drink so many big beers. Maybe it's just me, but I know some of their variants aren't as strong as some of their other ones, though.
That
Too.
is true.
Like,
That is true.
but if this
Like
if
the
it's a
white, I
Dragon's
think is
Milk
only an
variant,
8.
yeah, you're looking at still a good number on it, you know. But
The
yeah,
original Dragon's Milk is what, like a 9.2 or
something
something?
like that.
It's
Yeah,
not 10.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like like
So
9 something, and then
it's
so
when they get the barrel aged that you're like, ooh.
yeah, it's like, well, I'm here, so I've got to do it. It's like if I ever go to Bell's, it's like, they have Bell's. I'm a big fan of Oberon because like when
Oh
Oberon
yeah,
for me is like the first day of spring. Was like
it
yesterday or
is.
Monday it came out yesterday, and it was like
Hmm.
to me it's springtime because Oberon's out now. But if you go there, they have like the different versions of Oberon. So I would be drinking like all the different ones if I was there. Like they have a mango one and some other
Oh
one.
yeah.
And the other one is like Ballast Point. They used to have like the variants of the Victory SC. If you went to the brewery, they would have
Yeah.
like a peanut butter cup. Then they have the regular peanut butter. And then they would
Hmm.
have this. And every Victory SC I've had, I've enjoyed. That's one of my favorite imperial porters is Victory SC from
Yeah.
Ballast Point. And yeah, so if I was at New Holland, I'd be like Chew. I'm like, well, it's going to be all right now. We're going to just get it all going right here on this one. I mean, get the Dragon's Milk rolling.
Hey, now you put me in the hot seat, but you didn't say your top 5 breweries. I want to know.
That's because I'm the host.
Hmm.
Nobody asked Jimmy Fallon the question. Jimmy Fallon asked them.
I'm still curious. I would like to know.
Oh man, I mean the top
It's
5
so hard.
breweries is very hard considering how many different breweries we drink from all the time.
Hmm.
And for me, I'm big into a lot of the Belgian type ale. So
Mm.
Brewery Van Steinberg would be one, and they do like the Golden Drag type beers. Not
Yeah.
saying they'd be number one, but they'd be one. I'm just kind of throwing ones out there I really
Hmm.
enjoy. And they do like Duval and all that, so they would be there. Um, Domestically, other half would be one I really enjoyed. Now that I can get other half beers here, which I just bought some other half this week, I'm going to do a review on that here shortly at some point.
I've only had 2, and they are freaking
They're
amazing. Oh
amazing.
my
They're
god,
amazing.
so good.
And I've had the Julius, which is really good. So I kind of want to say Trio, but I feel like I haven't had enough from them. So I don't want to base it all on beer, but that is a very smooth beer. Then it's like, is it really beer? Is it really beer? Like because it's just like
Maine's a good one too. Is it
Main
is it called
Street
Maine?
Main Street Brewing or whatever.
No, 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 no.
Main Brewing
The
with the
one
white
that's
label.
based out of Maine, and they have the really plain labels, and they
Yeah,
did
that's
one called
Main
Whale.
Brewing. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, they're really good too. They have
I've
some
had theirs. Yeah.
cool stuff.
But New Holland is a solid brewery. I've always enjoyed their stuff.
Yeah.
Um, oh, man, it's kind of tough. I know that one of the craziest beers I've actually liked was the first time I had like one of the Belgian ones, the Golden Corollas, and their Christmas Noel. It's another one out of Belgium. Can't remember the name of the brewery because they're all like the different names for the Belgian breweries, but
Right.
that brewery was pretty solid, and
Well,
I
if
almost picked
John's
up.
still watching, he might know.
Yeah, yeah. And I
He
just picked.
sneaks in with all those names.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like I always said, if I want to travel to different places and enjoy beer, but if I ever go to Belgium, I might not come back. That might be the last stop. Like,
I
just
know,
okay,
right?
leave me here. I'll buy a burial plot, and I'm going to just stay here the rest of my
You're
life.
just
So
gonna set up a tent outside of some
yeah,
monastery and just wait
yeah.
for the beer to roll out.
But Hot Butcher, I haven't had Hot Butcher in a while, but Hot Butcher is pretty solid. I mean, you can't
They
really
really are.
go wrong with them. Um, just so many out there that are just so solid. I'm trying to think back. One of the ones we had in Cincinnati, and when I had like Joe, the Beer Patrol, and Todd came up, and Eric came down. We went to Street Side. Street Side does some fantastic beers, and they're more like the hazy and the juicy type IPA type stuff. But I wouldn't put them at the level of being like one of my top five, but they're just so good. It's just
Hmm.
it's always a different experience. Like you said, it's always changing because you're trying new different things.
Yeah, all
Like
the time.
I can't even count. Like I don't know how many times you've been asked this since you do the beer stuff, but I get asked like on stuff like, "What's your favorite beer?" Like you really can't ask a beer reviewer that question. That's like
You
it's like
can't.
you can't really answer this. It's just like one of those worst questions. I think that people that review beers or like to write about beers, it's kind of like, yeah. I mean, I can say beer styles like Belgian and stouts and IPAs, probably my top three styles I really enjoy the most. But a
Yeah.
favorite beer, it could change the next time I pick up another one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And honestly, like when I'm at the brewery and I'm doing the interview,
Mhm.
I will always ask whoever I'm speaking to, like, what's their favorite beer if you're on tap, what's their
Mhm.
favorite beer in general. A lot of times that question gets cut out because it's just so hard for us. For
Right.
people who work in beer, it's such a hard question because, I mean, honestly, if someone said, "What's your favorite style?" My favorite style is ambers.
Hmm.
I haven't had too many ambers lately, honestly, because there's so much other stuff out there that I want to try.
Right.
But I live for ambers. I really do.
Well, it's,
Um,
well, for me,
it,
it's like Belgians. Like Belgians are my
yeah,
favorite style, but I can't
yeah,
drink Belgians a lot because they're such big beers.
right,
I'm not
right.
trying. I'm not trying to be Norm right now. I'm already a bigger guy. I want to be. I don't want to be Norm. So,
And
so yeah,
honestly, if I was entirely honest, my second favorite type would probably be barley wine, and barley wine will knock me on the floor. I mean,
I can
I
drink
can have
barley wine.
one of those, and then I'm like, oh, I can't have any more. And
Yeah,
Unane, when we filmed at Unane, I got one of their barley wines. It was incredible,
yeah.
absolutely incredible. But it came in a wine bottle, like a whole wine bottle
Mm-hmm,
of this
hmm.
one barley wine, which was amazing. But holy crackers, that's a lot to drink.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And it,
I'm not an overly large person. I
yeah,
mean, I can hold my own pretty well.
yeah.
I mean, technically, Chu and I think his best friend too can probably outdrink me, but I hold my own pretty well for my size.
Yeah,
But I still have to be cognizant of the fact that I need to not completely slur my words every 2 seconds,
right. And
especially if I'm on film.
a barley wine will test. I've got,
Oh, yeah.
I think it's five in right now that are lined up. So we did the move from Cincinnati to Baltimore, and I'm trying to get rid of some of the stuff here to do the reviews on. So I'm cleaning out the cellar somewhat before buying new stuff to bring in. I had a lot of stuff in the cellar that were the 25.4 ounce bottles, like the big bottles. So it's like, and they're all like Belgian type stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
Now, five of them are Sierra Nevada Bigfoots in different variants.
Oh man.
so, so
So
those,
you're gonna need to move your camera. You're gonna need to move your chair. You'll just lie on the floor and go, "Is good, is good." Just put the camera on the floor. You'll be
yeah.
fine.
So I'll be going through that series here at a point, but those are kind of like weekend beers. Like I don't want to drink those
Yeah.
on the weeknight. I get up and go to work the next day. So it's like going through different things, and it's like, yeah, I need to get some
And that's
time
the
cut out for
problem.
this. Yeah,
Still having the 9 to 5. You still have to go to work. You
yeah,
still have to have a life that's not just beer. So
yeah.
getting
Yeah, and
all
it's kind
that
of
put
like,
together is tough.
and it's like with some of these, for me, it's just me. And my wife doesn't really drink beer as much. She'll drink occasionally a beer now and then. She'll drink like more mixed drinks, whiskey or scotch or bourbon. She won't drink scotch, but she'll drink bourbon and stuff. But
Yeah.
we'll go out or wine. But it's kind of like for the beer stuff, it's not like sometimes you'll have stuff and you might drink some of it, right? Like
Yeah.
me, it's just me. Like so, I'm drinking these bottles that would usually be two people. You would share with somebody, or
Yeah.
I see other people like Nerd Sense where it's two, they're splitting drinks or something like that. Everything's like I don't have my split with, so, but I'm not going to pour it. So I'm going to go with it all, right? So
Yeah. Well, you
yeah.
can't waste it either. I mean, honestly, when you open one of those big bottles, you got to finish it that day.
You got
You
to.
have to.
You got to. So,
Because, I mean, even with the wine stoppers, like the air pump wine
mhm.
stoppers, I'm telling you, it doesn't work. It doesn't work with beer.
Not for beer.
You
No.
can pull it off with wine, but you can't do it with beer.
Yeah.
You have to finish that bottle that day. And if it's a weekday and you got to get up at 5:30 in the morning, well, that's rough.
Yeah.
You got to really think ahead and have friends come over or something because
Yeah.
it's a lot.
That's why I've become more of a fan. I don't know how many of your places have this up there, but more of a fan of some of the crowlers. So one of the
Yeah.
places I found here in Baltimore, you get a pint, or they have two crowler sizes, like 19.2 or 32. So the 19.2 works out to be a nice, well fit one because I'll get like a lot of the 9 or 10% bigger stouts or double, triple IPAs, whatever it may be. Um, but I used to get the growlers and stuff, 64 ounce. And I've got like 5 or 6 growlers somewhere around, I think. And it's like you're drinking those for a while. That's when you learn, like, notice. That's when I noticed like some of the weight gain taking place because you open that growler up, you have to drink it in a certain amount of time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like, and the way to
100%.
make some of these beers, they're so smooth. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm okay. You're at home, you're relaxed, you might get buzzed with everything, but it's like you start noticing that scale go up, up, up. So I had to stop messing with those. But are you a big fan of the new crowlers? Are you a fan of the half size? You can get like half pours now for 8 ounces at places, or
You know, I'm a bit old school in that I love the growlers. We have, I think, 8 different growlers from 8 different breweries, and we always have at least 3, maybe 4 in the car at any given time because we never know when we're going to stop at a brewery, and we never know when we're going to want to take some home.
right?
A lot of them are doing their own cans now. Not all of them. Actually, in my top 5, I had one spot left to fill. And for my Chicago folks, I don't know if you've checked them out, but in Mundelein, Illinois,
Mm,
Bozaki's Brewery. So Greg Bozaki and his wife run this brewery. He used to live out on the East Coast, and he made a lot of money doing whatever he did before. And he came here and he opened his brewery as his retirement.
mm,
He has no intention of distribution. He has no intention of hiring staff. It's just him and his wife and their little space and their little brewery. And they do tiny little batches of all the different things. And I love that place so much. He's a bit of a chatterbox, but
yeah,
he's fantastic. I haven't worked up the nerve to ask him to film yet because I don't know if he wants the attention
yeah,
necessarily because he has his core group and like the people who support him, and
yeah,
he survived COVID, got through
yeah.
it just fine, and he hated having to serve people outside because he didn't want to go outside. He wanted to
Right.
have his little space and do his little thing, and I think that's wonderful. I love Bozaki's. So if you guys haven't checked out Bozaki's, it's such a tiny little. It's right next to Tight Head. If you're into Tight Head, like they're literally 3 blocks away. So there's 2 right close to each other that you can check out at the same time. But check out Bozaki's because he has his little space and he has his little thing, and he's not going to give it out to anybody else. He's just like, this is my thing,
Yeah.
and I kind of love that view on it. Like he's not thinking global. He's not thinking growth.
Right.
He's thinking, this is my retirement, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it. And I think that's lovely.
I was thinking, yeah, he's not like Pinky. We're going to take over the world.
That was the brain. The Pinky just couldn't answer the questions and stuff.
Yeah, the brain.
We'll get ready for tomorrow night, Pinky. What are we doing tomorrow night, Brain? Trying to take over the world. Of course, that's what we're doing. Because, are you thinking what I'm thinking, Pinky? I think so, Brain. But where are we going to find rubber pants in our size? Like, yeah. I was an Animaniacs fan, just so you know. Old school Animaniacs was my jam. So
I was in a time of Ren and Stimpy back in the day. So
oh, me too. My dad wouldn't let me watch Ren and Stimpy. I would sneak out of bed at night to watch it.
Well, Well, we were watching it back in the '90s when it came out in college, and not always in the best mindset. So it was even that much more funnier when we were watching it. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, somebody had to be doing something when they came up with this series because it hit right on point. Stimpy. Yeah. Yeah, I thought the same thing, JT, earlier, like sing 98 flavors
98
of tea on the
flavors
wall.
of tea on the wall. 98 flavors of tea.
Somebody came in and said, I need a birthday cake tea. I'm like, I'm out. Like,
It took 4 different teas to make that drink, by the way. That was nuts. I could also do a Tootsie Pop one. It
Yeah.
tasted like a cherry Tootsie Pop.
Take one down and pass it around.
Todd's getting in on it.
Oh, let me see here.
And it's funny, when the 98 things of tea came up, I could hear Chew laughing downstairs. So he is still watching, I think. I think he's still watching down there.
Oh, man. Let me see here. I don't know what they're talking about here. Sonic streaming a good replacement for Apple. How's the war going? What war? I mean, is this the war, the Ukraine thing? Going good, JB. I don't think it's about the war though.
War on drugs?
Yeah. Chicago's home to the Cicero certification program. There you go. So right out of there.
I know. I'm aware. I don't know if I'm quite there yet.
That's a good question there, John. So for me, and we'll let Mallory answer as well, like, do you feel like you get IPA? I've gotten IPA fatigue. Like, if I have been drinking IPA for like months at a time, just like I was done with it. And then I get a craving for it. I'll go back to it or something like that and everything. But how about you? Have you gotten fatigued on it? Do you think what's your feelings?
I think the fact that I still have some issue with hops, where I have to get past that initial sip, means that I haven't really partaken in IPAs on a non-video level as much. So because I'm not just drinking them random, I'm drinking them when I'm like focused on showcasing the brewery. And of course, in the back of my head, I'm always thinking, would my father like this IPA? Because that's how I judge the IPAs. Because he's the IPA guy. He's never been IPA'd out in his life, and I don't think he ever will be because he loves them so much. So because I'm focused more on doing that specifically to showcase the breweries, I'm not IPA'd out because I haven't overindulged. Now, as far as the New England IPAs, I've been really heavy on them lately. Since New Year's, I've been very heavy on them because I'm really, really enjoying them. So those haven't burned me out. The West Coast and the crazy IPAs that everyone got sick of, 5-6 years ago, I wasn't in that camp. I was drinking other things at the time. I was looking for the ambers, and I was looking for the browns, and I was looking for the multi-focused ones because that was my jam. So, yeah, I'm not IPA'd out as of yet. Okay. I do know that I make the funny faces when I have the IPAs because I'm still getting accustomed to the hop. But I haven't gotten burned out, not at all. But I'm in a different kind of camp than most, I think.
Yeah. Funny thing about the West Coast, I think more people are trickling back into the West Coast because they're getting tired of the other ones that came out from the other side. They're yearning for that old West Coast flavor.
And I'll tell you, this Furious George one, it has a citrus front, but it still sits like a West Coast. When I finish the sip, it sits like an Amarillo West Coast, straight up. And it's hazy as heck. Like, you can't see through that, but yeah, it definitely has a West Coast sit.
James, I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
I don't think I am. I've seen your YouTube channel.
James is a cool
fun
cat.
Music stuff on there.
If you ever want somebody to really drink with and have a good time and really talk beer, because he's in Chicago. I got a chance to meet him a few years back when we were up there, and we grabbed some beers and some food. Great guy to chat with and have some fun. So
I would love to hang out with JT. I think that'd be fantastic. I mean, I've been kind of chatting with you on Rod's channel for ever, so that would be really fun.
Yeah, I like to get you connected with some of the other Chicago people that you may have not done yet, but Like I said, I think you would love to hang out with Swan, the Afro beer chick up there. She's a
Oh
blast.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
loves
You
getting
were
down with
saying, and
her.
I
Yeah,
was looking that up a bit. I was like, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. She's totally at. I mean,
Oh my God, that
you
would
go
be
out
so
with her to
much
some of the
fun.
breweries. Everybody knows where the breweries and stuff now. I think for the most part up there. So yeah,
Yeah.
get yourself some Fuggles IPAs, different hop. Yeah, and
I
I've used
do like the
Fuggles.
Fuggles. The
Yeah,
Fuggles is fun. Everything I've had with Fuggles, I've enjoyed. So
for some reason Fuggles made me think of Fraggles, and that's I was thinking of Fraggle Rock. I don't know why, but it did.
down at Fraggle Rock,
It should be a Fuggle Rock beer. That'd be a good title for one.
dance your cares away. Sorry,
Grape Oxenite.
that's
Oh,
gonna be
that's
stuck in
great.
everyone's head if you know the song. So
About to review the Reformation Brewery Jude Belgian Style Triple 9.2. Very nice beer
ooh,
from Canton, Georgia. Very nice.
that sounds lovely.
Yeah, I need to catch up on John's Pierre. I don't know if you've ever seen John Pierre stuff, but he does some pretty good
Not
reviews
yet,
on
but
his
I'm going
channel.
to.
Yeah, his channel is just his name, John H. Pierre. Um, but he has some great stuff there that he actually goes through. And he was in Alabama, does up, and now he's in Georgia. So I think he has more options now open, which is great.
Is his name the name of his channel, or is it a different name for the
Yeah, it's
channel?
the name of the channel.
Okay, perfect. I've got it written down because Chu brought me a Sharpie that did work.
There
So
you go. Starting to get back to sleeping again. Thanks, man. Yeah, so he's getting back on his routine. Uh-oh. I think Shannon will be back this week. So
yay!
Thursday night could be crazy. There's Chew. I like the sours. He goes, Molly won't touch them. It's a win for me.
It's not that I won't touch them. It's just I know that you like them better. I leave them in the fridge because I know you like them. Silly.
Have you
It's
not
like
had any?
it's like my potato chips from my hometown. You don't eat those because you know that I love them.
Have you had any sours you have pretty much enjoyed it all? Or
Oh yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
enjoy sours.
yeah,
I just know that he's obsessed with them right now. It's like his favorite style. So mostly, I'll have a couple sips of his, but I'll let him have the sours for right
there you go.
now.
You're a giver. New Whistle looks like they have some solid offer. His Todd
Oh yeah,
said.
Noon
Yeah,
Whistle was rocking.
my top five breweries are within 6 miles of my apartment.
Oh, jealous.
Yeah, yeah, he's not too far from I think where Hot Butcher is. I think he's at Dovetail and stuff there too. Which I was almost surprised you didn't say Dovetail, just because everybody seems to really love Dovetail up there.
Dovetail is lovely. They're a little more traditional on the
Mhm.
flavors, and honestly, I've kind of been leaning on where people are branching out kind of crazy at the moment. So
Mhm.
that's more my focus. Like phase three being like they do all the crazy stuffs, and
Yeah,
Liquid Love does the crazy stuff. I'm kind of into that at the moment.
yeah.
Dovetail is rocking though. They are quite solid, and I do like them.
Female brewer, can't remember her name. She did brewery tours with a couple times. Worked at Two Brothers. Left to brew at New Holland.
Two Brothers is great too.
Yeah, Two Brothers had some decent beer. I've had some of their stuff before.
Yeah, Two Brothers is really good.
Lights out a short distance. What five are they? Yeah, James can walk around to different breweries. He's in Chicago, so yeah. I can answer Hop Butcher, Half Acre, Pipeworks, Spiteful, and Revolution. Rev.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but those are all good. So, I mean, those are all solid breweries. That's the whole thing. It's like,
yeah.
I say, top five breweries, but you can just
Pipeworks
possibly
is so
pin
fun
down so
too.
many out. Yeah. Pipeworks,
Pipeworks is fun. Revolution had their Christmas ale, their Fistmas.
Christmas, yeah.
Oh, so good.
And see, James says Dovetail, Maplewood, Half Acre,
Maplewood is
Metropolitan,
rocking
Off Color,
too.
Sketchbook, Spiteful, Old Urban Brewing.
Hey, Metropolitan, that's what I was having first.
There you
Off
go.
Color, I love Off Color.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I was looking into filming there. I wanted to film there for Halloween, and
Hmm.
Chu and I were going to be. I was going to do full makeup where we looked like we stepped out of a black and white movie.
Hmm.
So like full out black and white, like Charlie Chaplin level full outfit, and because all of their cans are in black and white, right? That's their
Right, off
thing
color,
with the
yeah,
off
yeah.
color. And then I was looking online at their Google reviews, and they had people saying that someone took a photo of the bar and the bartender was in it, and they took his phone to erase the picture. And I was like, maybe
Really?
I shouldn't film there just yet. So I think maybe next Halloween I'll like call them in advance and talk to them and be like, hey, this is what we do. Check out our channel first. See if you like it. If you don't like it, that's cool. I still want to drink there, but but yeah, off color. I got a little nervous just based on some of the um, owners' responses to some of the reviews made
Was,
me a little nervous. So
were there
yeah,
bad reviews the owner responded to, or
yeah.
I just don't see Off Color having bad reviews on the beers I've had.
No,
So
no, 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 no. They didn't have any bad reviews on the beer. They had bad reviews from people who were like, they came there and they didn't make a reservation first, and it was during COVID, and it was this whole thing, and then but
mm,
there were a couple that said that like they were taking pictures and people got upset, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, if they're getting upset because people are taking pictures, maybe I can't film there. I'm just gonna hold off until I have a few more viewers, subscribers under the belt, and then maybe I'll talk to them and see how they feel about it before I actually go in there and have my camera taken away, because that would make me sad.
so you're telling me going to Off Color is like going to Popeyes?
I'm starting to wonder, but no, they just had a few reviews that made me a little nervous, but I want to film Off Color so badly. Honestly, their Oktoberfest this last year
Hmm.
was amazing, and I love a good Marzen. I love a good Oktoberfest beer. I really enjoy those,
I do
and
too. That's one of the lager styles I've actually picked up more the last couple of years.
oh
I like.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they're beer for tacos, beer for burgers, beer for ball games. Like they have all these different things that they do. And Apex Predator being one of my
Hmm.
favorite beers. I love it. I really want to film there, but I was so nervous, and I chickened out and didn't call them. So maybe next Halloween, so I can do my Halloween costume thing, because I'm a crafter and that includes crafting Halloween stuff. So
Awesome.
that's why right after our shave, she released a Halloween video for us as one of our 60-second sips from Halloween. Actually, we were doing a Maplewood beer too. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, it's the holiday that keeps on giving in my world.
Yeah.
You can take your Christmas, you can take your Easter, you can take whatever other holidays. I don't care. I want my Halloween. I live for it. And
See, good.
she was a Fourth of July man. He
Yeah.
lives for his Fourth of
He
July.
goes crazy for Fourth of July.
Oh yeah. Well, his family does this big thing up in Michigan every year, and it's like 60 people around a giant bonfire passing bottles of booze. It's fantastic. Right on the beach,
I was
volleyball.
gonna say, was it on the lake? Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's right
Oh
on
yeah.
Lake Huron, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful and lovely, and it's not just blood family, it's the family. It's everyone who's been inducted into the family over
Yeah.
all the years that the family has been doing this, and it's so much fun and wonderful. And Fourth of July is really a special treat for us. So Fourth of July and Halloween are our holidays.
It's like you're part of the familia now.
Mhm.
We
It
expect
is
you to
pretty
be
much
here.
like
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
you get initiated into the group, and you can escape it after
Hey,
that. I'll tell you
nobody
what.
leaves the family.
That is true. That is true.
Just when I thought I was out, they
Oh,
pulled me back in. Yeah, I go all day with these. We would embarrass me. Yeah, I mean, Chicago's got a great thing. I mean,
mhm.
I'm just going to
Agreed.
say I've been to Chicago and I've been to Cincinnati, and it's kind of different. Cincinnati has a good amount of stuff there too. Um, I feel like Chicago has more, maybe, of some of the craftier type breweries in that you have more ones that are experimenting like Off Color.
Hmm.
Cincinnati has a lot of good breweries, but you still probably have maybe half of them still doing some more of the traditional, but they experiment here and there. You throw in like a Braxton with their Braxton Labs, I would put them up like with some of the stuff they do, like against an Off Color, or I would take some of the stuff that Mad Tree actually does, put them up maybe against a Pipeworks or Street Side against some of the other ones.
Hmm.
But I just feel like Chicago's kind of the art feeling city, right? Got a lot of art around there, and
Oh yeah.
that comes through in the beer more than it does Cincinnati. So there's more breweries that have that artistic type touch than what Cincinnati may be doing, but they both are great opportunities there. I mean, I told
So
a friend
that's
earlier this week I already missed Cincinnati and the beer and stuff there. Plus, we had Jungle Gyms, which is like considered the best place
right.
to buy beer in the country. If anybody goes to Cincinnati, you don't go to Jungle Gyms, and you're a beer drinker, I'm gonna tell you right now, you messed up. It's like that whole skit. It was at this moment he knew he fucked up. Because if you don't go there, that's got like everything you could ever want. It's an adult playground for people that love beer.
I'll tell you, that's one thing I really enjoyed about Pittsburgh, actually. Pittsburgh was, I mean, lots of breweries, and they had several that stick to very traditional. Like
Hmm.
Penn Brewery. We really
Yeah,
enjoyed Penn
Penn. I've had
Brewery.
some Penn stuff.
They
Yeah.
have some rockin' stuff. Really, really nice, but it's very, very traditional. They ain't really super playing around. Like they'll have small batches of a couple other things, but their core stuff is straight
Hmm.
up. And they really rock it. Like
Yeah.
it's really good. But at the same time, we went to like 412 Brewery and we found that one on accident. We were looking for a different brewery and stumbled upon that one. And they had a smoked porter, which it was incredible. I
Yeah.
mean, they had some amazing. If you get a chance in Pittsburgh, go to 412 because that brewery was really fun. The chick behind the bar was having a great time. She was just rocking it and having, like she was like, "Man, I was out till 4 partying. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning, and you're here to drink beer. Let's go!" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yes, 100% yes." And the beer was fun and well balanced and crazy at the same time. I loved that place. So yeah, Pittsburgh had kind of both sides of it, and I think
Hmm.
Chicago does too. Like we have the super traditional, and then we have the wild and wacky crazy ones that you never
Hmm.
know what you're going to get. So I liked
And
that a
you
lot.
got Lagunitas there too, which is just like
Yeah.
best value you can get for a beer for the
Oh
most
yeah.
part. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lagunitas is great, and Goose Island is really
Yeah.
fun.
Goose
Honestly,
Island. Yeah.
anywhere in Wrigleyville, you can get a 312 for like $2. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that cheap, but you know what I mean. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's just yeah, you get a lot of different types all in the same place, which I kind of
Yeah.
love. I like that Chu and I don't actually live in the city.
Hmm.
We choose to not live in the city because we can get to the city in a half hour.
Hmm.
But living downtown is a little much, you know.
Yeah.
So I grew up farms, man. I had a cornfield for my front yard and a river for my backyard. I had no neighbors on my street that were my age. In fact, most of them were geriatric while I was living there. And
You like
I
little
I
angels,
was
little
four
houses on the
miles out
prairie.
of town. I couldn't even ride my bike to anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that, And he grew up in Detroit. He grew up in not 8 Mile, 9 Mile. Yes, 9 Mile. So for anyone from Michigan, you guys know what that means. Because I just figured that out like 2 years ago. Because he's told me like 7 times, and it took me this long to figure it out. So anyone who's seen the Eminem movie 8 Mile,
Hmm.
so the Domino's where Eminem worked was actually the one that Chu and his parents ordered food from. So I'm
Really?
assuming that he probably delivered pizza to them at some point,
Huh.
which I find interesting. And everyone's like, "Hey, did you get his autograph?" And she's like, "The greasy pizza guy? No, I didn't get his autograph."
He like hit.
Because
She's like, hey, I'm in.
who's getting the autograph of the pizza guy, honestly, but still kind of fun.
It would have been funny if back then he'd have been like, "Hey, let me run this rhyme by you. Let me know what you think of it." And she was like, "Just give me my pizza." And nowadays that'd be Eminem, and it'd be like, "That was Eminem." Oh my
Well, she would have been like 6, so I doubt
god!
like, "Give me my pizza, man."
Or the guy's rhyming, he's like, "Can I have my pizza, please?" Yeah. What are you doing?
But I'll tell you 100%, his father would have said that.
Yeah.
"Dude, just give me my pizza."
Get off my lawn.
His dad was amazing, but he wouldn't have put up with the pizza guy cutting rhymes at him. I don't think that would have flown very well.
Yeah, Three Floyds, Two Brothers, Three Floyds always solid as well. Which one of my things I should have went when I had a chance was to go up there
I
for Dark
know.
Lord Day, and I haven't been there for that. So
Well, Three Floyds doesn't have a tap room anymore. Not like a normal
I thought
tap
they
room.
did. I thought they still have their regular place, right? Like I thought they got rid of one of their locations, maybe, or did something. Maybe I'm wrong there. I know they had Three Floyds. They had the tap room. I thought they had somewhere else too, but.
Well, Chew and I drive to Michigan all the time, and every time we're coming back, I'm like, hey, let's stop at Three Floyds. And every time we've looked, they've been closed. So we kind of finally did a little extra digging and found out that they had a tap room and they closed it in December of 2020. And then I haven't heard any news of a new tap room opening. So, to my knowledge, at the moment, and please tell me I'm wrong because I really want to go there.
I knew they were closing something in the tap room, but maybe that was their main one. Then I knew it was something happened before with the whole COVID.
Because Hot Butcher doesn't have a tap room either, and that's killing me.
But that's because they just bought that space. Though.
Yes, they bought two spaces.
Yeah.
They bought where Five Rabbit was, and they bought
Wise Acre.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Wise Acre is supposed to be the one they opened up there. So I haven't even talked to Hot Butcher, and I sent them a thing because I moved because they were sending me some beer. I let them know I moved back in January, so not to send anything because I'd be resettling in Baltimore and let them know. But I haven't heard from them at all since then. So, but that's good stuff. But
I haven't personally gotten in touch with Hot Butcher yet.
Yeah,
I want to because I love their stuff a lot, but I haven't done it yet. So I thought, I felt like I had to have a few more subscribers under the belt. No, the Instagram's over 1,000 now, so I'm thinking maybe I can start reaching out to some.
I would say don't get stuck on your subscriber count.
I know.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Trust me. I know people that are in contact with Hot Butcher that have less than what you have.
Honestly, I'm always going to have imposter syndrome until I have the facial hair. I'm going to have to grow a beard.
Just tell this. You're doing great. Just keep telling the stories that you're telling. Keep sharing the information you're sharing. I mean, I wouldn't have you on there if I didn't think you were doing a great job already there. So,
thank you.
I would have that story to say. I knew her when. I want that story because you're going to blow up.
You're having me on there following Miss Cooley. Like, oh my.
I was so happy to have her on there. That was amazing.
She was amazing.
Yeah, it's we had talked and stuff, and she was happy to come on, and it was great. It was,
Oh, she was fantastic. Before your interview was even over, I went to their Facebook page and just sent them a message saying, I'm watching her interview on Rod J's BeerVentures, and oh my gosh, everything's fantastic. I love it, and I'm subscribing to you on all the things. So,
they're doing great stuff out there. Yeah. And
but it's like being the next karaoke singer after the opera singer. Like that's what you've done to me following her. Because I thought she was just amazing.
Yeah, she was definitely amazing for sure. And my goal for this year was to ramp up some more things like that. So stay tuned as we get into the year. I got a lot of good things I'm going to be planning to bring to do it different. I mean, I do the beer reviews, and the beer reviews I think are good and fun to do. I like doing them and sharing with people I'm drinking, but we have a lot of people that do beer reviews. So there's other stuff I want to bring to the channel, get more involved back into that. So
yeah,
hopefully it's a fun ride for everybody. But you're doing some great stuff. I like the stuff that you're doing because you're doing not just reviews on the different things, but you're doing more in-depth stuff. You're doing more having fun with it, the costumes type stuff you're doing. It's different. It makes it fun because it's not like the same old thing everybody's doing. So I love to see that. I mean, basically you're bringing like my buddy EB that was just here in Erie. They just went to Comic-Con. Like you're bringing like the anime type stuff to the craft beer stuff because you're doing the costume type things.
Did I mention that I'm an anime fan?
You did. Yeah. Well, Animaniacs, but anime.
Oh no, I'm an anime fan as well.
Yeah.
I haven't been to ASAN. I haven't been to Comic-Con. I haven't been to those things, but I make Halloween costumes that are that level.
Yeah.
Not necessarily comic or anime based, but my obsession with Halloween covers everything. So choose
parodies and Tuesdays.
What?
Parodies and Tuesdays.
Chew keeps he's opening up the door just long enough to say something that he wants me to mention.
I love when he does that. It's just hilarious.
I know, I love when he does that too. It cracks me up. I do wish that he'd just come in and like take a seat over
Just
here
grab a
off to the
seat right
side
there.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So Chew, if you want to come in and like sit off to the side, they can hear you when you come to the door.
Shoot, everybody's a guest on my show. Shoot.
But he was talking about how we do the. Okay, so when we started the channel, actually, let me rewind 2 months before. I wanted to start a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
The YouTube channel I originally wanted to start was a crafting channel, just crafts, not beer. We enjoyed the beer, but it wasn't on my radar at that point. And I wanted to be the person to go to a bookstore and purchase a crafting magazine and say, I'm going to do pages 10 through 20 of this magazine and show if any of these are actually feasible. And so take the magazines and do the crafts of from page 10 through 20 and just show if the magazine was actually representing itself in a way that was reasonable. And that was my initial thought. And then we got talking about the craft beer. I had already named the channel ImperfectlyMeCrafts. I had literally already made the channel on YouTube as ImperfectlyMeCrafts because I knew that I wasn't going to be perfect in my crafting. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But we got talking about the beer thing and we were like, well, why not do both? And pulled both together. So we started out and I was doing all the editing and I had to learn how to edit because I had never edited videos in my life.
Sure.
So that was all new to me. And my very first video, the Liquid Love video, it took me approximately 35 hours to edit the entire thing. Because I was still learning how to do it, right? And we use OpenShot, which is the free one. So we're using a free editing software right now. And it was a few weeks in, and Chu told me that he had used the camera and filmed him making his chili. And he was going to edit that and release that. And he's still working on the editing for that one because, you know, it's a learning curve, right, for editing. But he decided he wanted to have Tuesdays. And for Tuesdays, because I always released on Thirsty Thursdays, that was my thing. I'm going to release on Thursdays, it's fine. He wanted his Tuesdays. So every once in a while, he'll release a parody or something where I come home from work and he says, put on this costume. We're doing this today. I have the green screen set up. Let's go. And he says, at this point, you have to look over here. At this point, you have to look over here. And then we're doing this. And I'm like, okay.
He is a director.
On Tuesdays, he is. Now, that was his editorial debut. Was the Halloween one? No, the Oktoberfest one. The Oktoberfest, where we were out camping and he filmed it. He filmed it while we were camping. But yeah, the Tuesdays are his editorial debut. That is just him. I don't touch those videos. He tells me, okay, he directs me and says, okay, look this way, do this, you know, and I do the things, and then he edits them and releases them. I never get to see them beforehand. As far as the crafts and the brewery tours, that's all me. I just, he sets up the camera shots just because he can see where I am in the camera. So I let him handle the camera shots, but most of that, I handle all the editing. He will help out sometimes if my work schedule gets in the way and I can't get it in time. But most of that falls on me. The Tuesdays and all the 60-second sips, he handles every single one of those. So yeah, we kind of half and half the channel right now as far as the work involved to post everything.
Chu's involved. He's just like the Hive, but he's involved.
And he handles the TikTok channel. I don't touch the TikTok, but I handle Instagram. So and then we both handle YouTube. So yeah, we try to break it up as much as possible to make it a little more even, and we can both contribute as much as we can. So
Yeah. No, that's good that you guys have like a little teamwork that you're doing there.
we gotta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, if I had to do all this all by myself, I think I would be in therapy.
Well, that's how some people get burnt out on this stuff too. Yeah. But yeah, John answered, I have not been there. So here's the thing. I was planning to go. Well, I did go Saturday to the Guinness Brewery because they had a whole Irish village and stuff set up for St. Patty's Day.
Right.
I didn't know how big it was going to be. I went to pull in the parking lot and the line was down and back and around, and it's like I don't got time for all that. I mean, there was like tons of people. They got a huge parking lot. You couldn't even find a space on that side. You had to go drive over. People were walking back, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to wait till after the Irish thing because I was going to try to get video, but I need to buy tickets for that and everything like that. So I ended up saying, well, what else is near me? So I did go to Heavy Seas Brewery, which is just a mile down the road. And I did shoot video there, and I did a couple flights. I'm going to be editing that this weekend that I'll share with the channel and stuff. So I did go to Heavy Seas with that. I did like Heavy Seas beers. So since they were close, I just ran over there. That was the first brewery that you'll see me visiting here in Baltimore. But went in, took some pictures, had some video, drank some beers, talked to the people. Then I was out. So, but yeah, Guinness, I will get there again now that it's died down. And I'm really interested in trying their small batch beers they're doing. Because all the other stuff that you can get everywhere else, I don't really care about. I want to know the special stuff they're doing. Special sauce. Give me the special sauce. And there was a Golden Girls head anchor. Yes, that's who it is. I couldn't remember offhand who it was. But that's, they do some pretty good stuff. The Golden Corollas Christmas Noel, one of the best Christmas ales I think I've ever had. The funny thing is, I ended up getting a case of it for $12.99. So I don't know how much you've seen on the channel, but it used to be the Rod J deals we used to talk about. I had places in Kentucky and Cincinnati where I would find beer and get these great deals on it. 24,
That's awesome.
24 of the Golden, and if you look at it, like it's ranked as one of the higher beers for that style out there. $12.99. No, they didn't know what they had. They just had beers. They had to get rid of them, and this was like a 10% ABV, I think. So I knew I could sell it. I had to drink it all at one time. And it was just like, if I knew how good that was, I would have bought all 3 cases. I only bought one. And they had 3 cases that were sitting there. I got a case of 4 and extra stout one time there for $12.99. So it was like, I missed that place because that place was near and dear to the heart and the wallet. But
Nice.
I don't know if it fell off the truck. I mean, I'm a fan of Goodfellas, but I wasn't going to ask any questions. I said, here's the money, and I'm out. So yeah, but definitely have not found any deals here yet. Energy City, another brewery there in Chicago as well.
Energy City? That sounds familiar, but I can't remember if they're Chicago or if they're one of the other cities we were talking about.
And then James said Phase 3 is also in the suburbs, you think?
Phase 3 is in Lake Zurich, Illinois.
And then Chu is in the chat. Yeah, Chu
Yes.
is in the chat.
Yeah, he snuck in the chat.
And Eat the Cat. I've heard about Eat the Cat. I don't remember Eat the Cat, but I remember hearing Eat the Cat.
I remember Eat the Cat.
Toss a nice couple from those. IPAs are my favorite style anyway, so I usually drink them less frequently than lagers, stouts, and Belgians. Mm-hmm. Yeah, James is a big fan of Dovetail, so obviously
Dovetail is excellent.
Yeah. We're having a big party at our house sometime this summer, and you're all invited. Yeah. Appreciate it.
I would love to hang out with you, James. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's funny. We went to this one place. We went to one of the places I like going to in Chicago. And it might be something you might consider like a tourist type thing, but it's downtown. And it's Exchequer Pub and Restaurant. Yeah. And they actually had a really good selection of local taps. That's really why I liked them.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of this old restaurant you walk into. It's got the old like Chicago mafia type stuff. It's like kind of like that ambiance.
Oh yeah.
But the food is massive. And we're sitting next to this guy who orders a plate of ribs. And this guy orders ribs. They're hanging off the plate like Fred Flintstone. And he looks at me. I look at him and I'm like, "You gonna eat all of those?" He's like, "I don't know." It's like, "If not, let me know. I'll holler at you."
Yep. Yep.
but it was a real cool place that we enjoyed the beers and the food. So Chicago, I know you got to prepare for the winter, so they give you good portions there. So
Yeah. No, we got to build up the layer of fat before that wind comes whipping through those buildings.
yeah. I was recommending Todd move to Linux over Apple, but Windows changed the spelling of Linux. Yeah, Todd has trouble with StreamYard at Apple sometimes when we go Thursday. Stepped away to eat some dinner and watch a Scotch documentary. What did I miss? Did you hear Mallory talking about her enjoyment of Scotch earlier?
Oh my
Were you here for
goodness.
that?
What's your favorite scotch? I need to know.
He just actually did a video. I don't know if you saw Alan's channel, The Eclectic Beards. He just did a video of, I don't remember which one. I think it was I don't know, Glenfiddich he just did. It was a special one, though. He just got it. Take a look here. He'll probably respond to it before I get it in here, but yeah, it's funny because we were talking about Scotch the other night, and his wife here, he's a big fan. It was Glendronach 12, which
Nice.
I know he really liked as well. He's got big into some of the scotches. Stouts and sours are better than IPAs and most other styles of beer. In my opinion, a good sour is way more enjoyable than drinking a pint of slow ale. That's just your palate, EB. That's just your palate.
I love Glenfiddich. I
Yeah.
love Glenlivet, but those are actually my mixture
Mm-hmm.
scotches. I go for actually I'll drink Octomore if I want Chew to leave me alone because he hates the smoke smell.
Mm.
Which is great. I can have a glass of that, and he's like, "Okay, she needs to be left alone tonight." Octomore, or there's another one that I drink if I want to be left alone, because he hates the smell of the peat smoke on
Mm-hmm.
some of the smoky scotches. He hates that. Um, but then I'll have my Delwynny. My Delwynny is I live for Delwynny. It's hard to, well, it's hard to get it for under $100 around here. Unfortunately, I keep
Mm-hmm.
searching, but it's beautiful. It's Highland light. It's orchid and uh, very floral, super light. It has a little bit of that salt air from the East Coast. It's so pretty. I love Delwynny.
So another channel you should check out. One of my friends. It's funny. He's actually in Chicago too now.
Oh
Malt,
goodness.
Malt Muser whiskey reviews.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, so he does a lot of whiskeys. He does the scotches and stuff too. But Malt Muser whiskey reviews.
Malt Muser.
Yeah, he does the whiskey
Thank you,
without the.
Chew, for the Sharpie.
He does the whiskey without the E. But he
All
has
right,
phenomenal stuff in there. I know you'll enjoy his channel too.
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I just discovered Distilled, Brewed, and Reviewed.
Yes. Yes.
I just discovered him not too long ago, and I was like, yes. So I've been enjoying that quite a bit because honestly, the way he categorizes his channel list, like how he separates out all the, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
He is so organized with his videos. Oh my goodness, it makes my life so much easier.
Yeah. There's some good whiskey channels on.
Mhm.
One of the
Well,
guys, Two Wheels Down,
Harriet.
Swami.
Harriet does
He's
those too, right? Did I say that wrong? I
who?
don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Who?
Ron Theriot?
Oh, Ron
Therio?
Therio.
Therio.
I don't know if he does whiskeys. I
He
haven't
does. He
talked to him
does.
in a while. Okay.
He does whiskeys.
Yeah.
Mostly American
He d-
whiskeys, but it's still really fun. Like I love watching his whiskey reviews. So whiskeys and bourbons and the whole works. So
yeah, he used to do a lot of. He does a lot of the beer stuff and everything too.
mhm.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Uh,
sure how to pronounce it because I've never heard him say his own last name. So
yeah, he goes by Ron or Jay. I think. Oh, Jay's his middle name or his nickname or what? But yeah,
don't know.
yeah, we used to do some stuff back in the day and everything too. Um, trying to think who Malt actually teams up with on here. Fuquig. Fuquig is another one that does. He's out of Canada, but he does a lot of
Fuquig.
whiskey. Yeah, FODQUIG. I think that.
FODQ.
No, no, just like food and quig.
Oh, FOOD.
Yeah. And then Quig.
QUIG.
Yes.
Oh, that's different. Okay, I will look that up.
Yeah, he does a lot. He used to do beer, but he ended up having basically diabetes stuff that he switched over years ago, where he had to switch over to whiskey. But he
Mm-hmm.
does, like, he just did like an Aaron 10 malt scotch, single malt scotch.
Mm-hmm.
He does Irish whiskeys. He does all different types of stuff. He does sherry
Irish is
cask.
triple distilled. I don't want any of that.
Yeah. You keep that to
Who
yourself,
needs
sir.
triple distilling?
I will not partake in that. We are not.
I mean, no,
We
the
are not
Irish ones are
savages.
fine. They're just not my favorite. But they triple distill all of theirs. That's the rule, is that they triple distill. And the Scots are like, yeah, we're not going to wait that long for the drink. So, yep.
Yeah, Todd's like me. He's not a huge fan of Apple. I do have the iPhone. That's about it for me. Uh, he's heard the Apple is brutal stuff. Steve Jobs' son. Yeah. Ever since Steve left there, off color pipe are in the same building back to back.
Are you kidding me?
Pipeworks.
I didn't know they were in the same building. When I looked up off color, it didn't say anything about Pipeworks being in the same building. Oh my God, that is my heaven.
You go there, that's 2 for 1 that day.
Oh, I can't film two in one day. Are you kidding?
The rudest of Popeyes keeps you coming back. Here's your fucking chicken biscuit. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. No, yeah. We always make fun
Okay,
of Popeyes workers on here. It's like
Eric,
hilarious.
you're from far away, but the Chicago people are going to know Ed DeBevics. It's all about Ed DeBevics. You go in there and you don't clean your plate, they're going to make you stand up and sing I'm a Little Teapot in front of the entire room because you didn't fucking clean your plate. They were rude as frick to
But that
all of their customers. It was amazing.
but
They
that's
didn't
when the
last long.
waitresses that's when the waitresses yelled at people and stuff, right? And this
Oh yeah,
but you
the whole draw of the restaurant was that the waiters would be rude to you, and
yeah.
people would pay extra money to have rude waiters, which I don't understand. I've had rude waiters before, and I didn't pay them extra. Um,
Well
I've been
that
a waiter before, and I've been rude, and I didn't get paid extra, and there was a reason for that. So
but
yeah,
that's the whole gimmick with them. That's what they were set up to do versus
yeah.
we talk about Popeyes just doing it regardless. It's just remember Popeyes, you go in, things don't go right, and it's like something always happens.
Yeah, something in their seasoning doesn't sit well with me. And
Yeah.
I've had Popeyes two times and I've gotten sick both times. And
Oh no.
it's not anything that the restaurant did wrong because Chew ate the same thing and he was fine. Like the restaurant was fine.
Right.
It's something about I couldn't handle whatever
Maybe one
was
of the
in their
spices they
seasoning.
had or
Something
something.
about
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So sadly, as much as I enjoy Popeyes food, I can't eat it.
Yeah, Popeyes is pretty good. It's what people put up with it.
It's addictive. I definitely enjoyed it when I had it. I didn't enjoy it after, but I enjoyed it while I was having it.
And then James said, "Off colors, beer for hell is back."
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look for that.
Three Floyds of Mustard in Indiana open, but not 100% on that. I think one of them was open. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. They closed the other tap room. Keep doing what you're doing, Mallory. You don't need any stinking beer. Not enough women have beer review channels. Exactly, right?
Well, now I lost all this hair. I gotta grow the, the hair, right? I have to make up for the 37 inches I lost.
I would say you definitely see women with mustaches, but not beards as much. I had the facial hair for both of us, Mallory.
Thank you, Chew. Actually, none of you have seen his face, but Chew currently has a full handlebar mustache.
Okay.
It literally does the full curve up, like he
Oh,
waxes it up
The
and
old
the
Raleigh
whole
fingers,
thing.
eh? Okay.
Oh yeah, he has the full handlebar mustache right now. It's like making out with a paintbrush. So it's as a wife, I'm not loving it as much as people on the street seem to love it, but because kissing a paintbrush is gross. But but
It's a cool
uh,
style, though. Cool
I
style.
gotta say he does look good with the handlebar. As much as I don't want him to hear me saying that, and I know he's gonna shout woohoo down here in a second as soon as his video catches up to ours. But
Yeah.
um, Yeah, the handlebar is fun. Oh, there it went. I just heard the woohoo. See, it just took a second to get there. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun thing, and it makes people stop and pay attention to us as
Yeah.
much as that's a weird way to get attention. But okay, sure, it's fine. Um, but yeah, he has the full thing. He does the wax and has the curl up, and he can curl it down like it's a Fu Manchu kind of thing, and
Oh wow.
he does he does all sorts of stuff with it.
And he
So,
won't come on camera.
but he won't come on camera, so nobody knows about his mustache. I
Yeah.
would love to post a picture of his mustache, but I'm not allowed to chew.
Maybe he'll get a job with Off Color.
I would love that. I would love that.
Well, I'll definitely be looking for the Hot Butcher then.
Oh, he's laughing. I can hear Chew laughing downstairs as he's
Yeah.
catching up with our conversation.
Yeah. Can't wait to dive into a Big Daddy, right? Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And I got to get John Pierre. I don't think I've ever had John on to do a spotlight of him, but I'm going to get him on here as well. So many people I'm trying to get to right now,
Mhm.
trying to get stuff shared and everything like that. I feel like it's just part of that beer community is sharing, getting the stories and stuff out there.
To go
And
along
it's,
with the beer community, I know I'm, well, fairly new to the beer community, but also a little different from a lot of your beer community already. And I'm on my third beer and I need a restroom break, so I'm going to have to leave for just a moment.
okay, go ahead. I'll
Forgive me.
get these here real quick. Energy City, Batavia, 45 minutes west of Chicago. No distro, have to go to the brewery. Oh, so that's when you have to pick up for sure. Let me see. Hell yeah, Todd. And Vanessa. JT said hello back. EP, favorite scotch is between Brut Laddish and Glen Rodish. We'll wait for Mal to come back then. She'll definitely make a comment on that one. I'll have to bring that back up. Let me see here. Hey, Gene, subscribe to your channel. Very nice, JT. Thank you, sir. I got a few I like to drink, but I haven't had many, to be honest. Yeah, I know you got some of the ones you've had that you liked. Arberg is growing on me, and Lagavulin is good, but God, the iodine. Part of the sacrifice. Gilbert with the Arberg 10. Maple syrup on fresh fallen snow. People do that up there, Vanessa? I never heard of that before. I've heard Winnie 15 is exceptional. Cheers, Vanessa. I only recently discovered rye, but never got into scotch at all. But I like the rye in the beers. I do like scotch though. I haven't had scotch in a while, but I do like having scotch from time to time. Air Force Base, I'm interested in bourbons and whiskeys. Let's see here. So he has some intense live stream. Oh, Malt earlier. Let me see. That's what I missed. Yeah, Malt was live tonight. Yeah, Eric does some pretty good stuff on his channel. So you get in there with Malt Muser, you'll definitely enjoy what he's doing. And then let me go back up here because EB had actually said favorite scotch is tied between Rugladish and Glenronish. I don't know if you've had those.
I've had the second one. I have not had the first.
And hopefully I said those kind of close to right because I have not had those.
I think the CH is a kind of a K sound.
Okay. And then James was talking about that Malt Muser was live earlier tonight and really some intense live streams. He's really good. He does a lot of good. He does a lot of stuff when he's live and stuff where the questions, the Q&A type things are really good. And he really educates people in the different whiskeys and stuff as well, which is really great.
Nice.
ADHD Whiskey Reviews is great too. So there's another one that's a good whiskey channel.
Just so you all know, I just want to throw this out. I knew that we were a little behind on comments, and I knew that he would that there was plenty to do while I was gone. I got halfway down the stairs, and she was yelling at me, "Hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up!" I wasn't even halfway down the stairs before he's like, You're not on the screen. What's going on? Hurry up. I'm like, dude, I have to use the restroom. Stop.
Director,
I got chewed out for
producer,
chewed
manager.
out.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got chewed out.
Uh,
Gilbert says, smell like peat permanently, but love bourbon and rye.
I love the peat.
Indeed. Let's see, pure alcohol, then add your favorite water. Yeah. See, I like my whiskeys neat, no matter what it is. I usually like them neat. Occasionally, out of the blue, might be something on ice, but most of the times I like them neat.
I'll do a splash of water here and there if it releases the aroma a little more.
Yeah, but my whiskey game isn't up to anywhere to really talk about, so that's probably part of it as well.
And the worst thing is, my favorite whiskey I can't get here.
Which one is that?
So sad. It's called Highland whiskey. It is only sold at Blair Castle in Scotland, and it is specifically made for the Highlander Army. And they'll sell it in their gift shop after you go through the tour of Blair Castle. You can get the bottles of it there.
There's
the
a
last time I,
There's a Highlander Army.
Yes, it's the only privately owned. It's the largest privately owned army in the world, and it's specifically men in kilts.
But I thought the Highlander there could only be one.
You played your own fanfare for that, really?
I hadn't used it in a while, so I figure why not, right?
Fair enough. But no, the Highland whiskey, not Highlander. Everyone knows Highlander and Highland Park. This is different. This is Highland whiskey. But the last time I went, they didn't have the large bottles, and I literally bought 2 large boxes of the mini bottles because that's all I could get at the time. They're like, you traveled all the way from the U.S. and we don't have any big bottles. Here, have a whole bunch of the tiny bottles. And I'm like, oh, thanks. That'll go great on the plane. But I bought a lot of those. I still have a couple left, and it's been 2 years since our honeymoon. So, because our honeymoon was Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's very nice.
He loves beer. I love whiskey. And it was just like, yeah, we're going to Scotland. He wanted to go somewhere where they spoke English, and I wanted to go somewhere where they had fun alcohol. So
I don't care about the language. I just need to know what the alcohol is going to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can go to any. I don't care what country it is. I don't need to know. I will learn enough of the language before I go to get the alcohol that I want. Yeah. That's all I need.
Yeah. If you go to Mexico, you don't got to know the language. Just got to know uno cerveza por favor.
And tequila. And the different tequilas. Yeah. You got to be on top of that because there's different ones that it makes a big difference what you order.
Oh, Color's Mousetrap Tap Room is in a different neighborhood than our main production brewery next to Pipeworks.
Okay, the Mousetrap is the one I was looking at.
Okay.
That's the one that had they got upset at someone for taking pictures.
So Popeye workers all hang out in the rear, get a high. No one decided to take an order. But the funny thing is when they go back in to give you your order, they probably mess it up because they can't count at that point. So you probably get extra stuff.
But even if it's wrong, it's going to be tasty.
Yeah. Lean a circle at night, cruel. Big Daddy.
What?
I'm
not sure what that was in reference to.
Let me get bourbon as well. I'm also intrigued to try some of the American single malts that are starting to be produced. Grew up in New Orleans, so I have a special organ for digesting Popeyes. Yeah.
And has anyone tried any of the Japanese whiskeys? There's several that I found quite nice, but I know a couple of you are obviously into the whiskeys, so I'm curious.
Yeah, I actually had a couple Japanese whiskeys about a year and a half ago. One of the guys I know, he used to have a channel here for one of the stores, but he basically, one of our stores back in Kentucky, once a year they have like a blowout sale where they have to empty the shelves and get stuff out of stock. So like everything's like half off. And he's like, you got to come check out this stuff. And I was there talking. He's like, you got to try these 2 whiskeys here. they were like 50% off or whatever, like from Japan. Like they were 90, they were 45.
Mhm.
And they were really good. One was done in a sherry thing, and one was done in something else, but they were both tasty.
So Chu's work used to take him to Japan on occasion, and when he would come back, he would always bring me a Japanese whiskey. And
Ooh,
there, I've had some really interesting whiskeys out of Japan lately, so they're kind of rocking it. I
yeah.
just was curious if anyone had any comments regarding the Japanese whiskey scene because there's some cool stuff coming out.
Yeah, well, some people didn't know Japan used to have the largest bourbon bar under one roof in the world.
You're kidding.
Yeah, they used to have the largest.
Really?
And Kentucky had just gotten it back, like, I want to say about 10 years ago. One of the bars in Kentucky that wasn't too far from where I was at from, we had like 500 plus bourbons under the roof. And that's when they got back the largest bourbon bar in the world. But Japan had it up to that point.
Oh, to show how well Chu's watching and listening, he brought up the Nika whiskey that he brought me from Japan.
Oh,
So first of all, take a moment and really view this because this is incredible. This is metal.
whoa.
Like the whole thing, his head comes off for the top, but this is heavy. Like
Yeah,
it's all metal for the top and for the shoulder plate here, and you can see like they have the proper knot tied in the back for the samurai armor. Like
yeah.
if anyone's an anime watcher, they know this because I'm a dork and
EB's here,
yeah.
so EB's definitely he's big anime.
But yeah, they have like the proper how it's all laid out for
Yeah,
how the armor would have been. It is such a beautiful bottle. So he brought this back in the States. This was like he's gonna run up here and yell at me because I can't remember the exact number. I feel like it was about 400 a bottle.
hmm
He got it for about 70 in Japan at the airport and brought it
hmm
back to me. But this was absolutely. I still have a smidge left. That's all I have left because I've tried to save it because it was
yeah,
so good. This one was very orchid. I got a lot of orchid in the flavor. Very light Highland style whiskey flavor. But it was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. So, and then we saw people selling the bottle like this empty online for like $600. I'm like, really?
what? Wow,
So I'm like, oh, we should hang on to this for a little bit, babe.
yeah,
But yeah, this is craziness that they made like
that's
you can
pretty
hear it,
detailed. I
right?
like that. Yeah,
Yeah. But they made the metal armor for the samurai whiskey they were doing. It was freaking incredible. And he just ran up here to show this bottle and ran back downstairs to watch on TV because he has it on the TV downstairs. Uh,
this was saying Popeye chicken tenders,
mm-hmm.
nice American single malts. Never, haven't had a lot of those yet. Yeah, it's like Gilbert was saying as well. Uh, Wiener Circle has a new patio area with live stand-up comedy night. So I guess that's somewhere in Chicago. I think
It
James
must be. It's not ringing a bell for me, but I want to check it out now.
Woodford makes them up, but probably yeah, Woodford stuff I can see getting up as well. Yeah, Maple Festival is pouring freshly cooked maple syrup down the candy stage on fresh snow. I said I've never heard of that.
Mm-mm.
Bruschettas does a Peter version Port Charlotte, great stuff.
Nice.
And gotta have the kilt, right?
Yep.
But if you go
Kilt
kilt,
is necessary.
go kilt, you got to go full kilt, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you got to.
You know the full ensemble? Like, okay, so the college I went to was actually I went to Monmouth College here in Illinois, and we were a Scottish Presbyterian college.
Yeah,
So if you could play bagpipes, you would get 4 free years at a private college.
really.
4 free years. So any of you, if you know anyone who plays bagpipes as a younger person who's looking for a college, this is 4 free years at a private liberal arts school in Illinois. you just have to, apply for the scholarship. But because we had a pipe and drums band, we had every parade, every football game, we had our pipes band play first. The pipes were always first. They play at every holiday, every concert, even the choir concerts. We had the pipes play before the choirs could sing. It's huge. So Scottish Presbyterian School, Monmouth College, not Monmouth University. That's different. That's the one that's like actually in sports. Our football team had 400 people on it because we didn't cut anybody, and yeah, we only won games because nobody got tired. They just sent the guys out with all their pads and kazoos, and they just ran in circles, and we still won. But honestly, but the pipes and drums bands, definitely worth it. If you know anyone who plays bagpipes, 4 free years at a private liberal arts school in Illinois.
Yeah,
doesn't matter where you're from, just apply. It's all you need.
If anybody knows a Danny, the pipes are calling.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you just ticked off all the Irish people because they think that's their song, and Scotland thinks that's their song, and there's a whole fight there. There's an argument between them.
Well, I guess is it Irish for that one?
Oh, that's the funny thing.
But they played the bagpipes for Danny Boy.
Yeah, but nobody knows for sure if bagpipes were technically Scotland first either. And I just ticked off all the Scottish people. But
Scottish and Irish.
Scottish and Irish, there's a big battle over Danny Boy, over who actually started that song. A lot of people equate it with Irish.
I mean,
I kind of think that it was Scottish first, personally.
The Jump Around video had Irish and they had the pipes, but then there was the Scottish stuff that I've seen with the bagpipes.
But then there's the Proclaimers, which da-da-da, and we're all good. So,
yeah, we knew Danny. The pipes were called for Danny, though. It's just was Danny Scottish or Irish?
I know that's the question.
Is it Danny more of an Irish name than a Scottish name?
It's hard to say. I'm not sure. And by the way, when I was with my choir in Scotland, when I was 20 years old, we sang at Roslin Chapel, which is a beautiful, tiny little chapel from way back. It's where they rumored that they hid the Holy Grail for a long time. It's all this history steeped. But we were singing with a choir from there. So they would sing a song, and then we would sing a song on separate sides of the chapel. And it was beautiful, and it was a wonderful situation. And I watched 2 Scottish men almost get into a fist fight because of how we pronounced certain words in one of our songs. We were singing, "You'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll meet you." The song that everybody knows, right? The problem was, "You'll take the high road," or "You'll take the high road." So these 2 Scottish gentlemen nearly got in a fist fight in the middle of Roslin Chapel, this beautiful chapel with all this medieval carving. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous place. They almost got in a fist fight over tech versus take, because the Americans pronounced it incorrectly, according to one of them, which I thought was a lovely, lovely moment. I mean, not fist fighting, of course. I'm not into violence, but it was quite amusing, actually. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And our choir instructor, who was there with us, was like, "Well, which one should I use? Which one should I use? We have like 7 more concerts in Scotland. Which one should I use?" And they were like, "No, it's tech. No, it's take. No, it's tech. No, it's take." And it was back and forth. It was a lovely moment. So
I was thinking of Scotland. Scotland's probably tech, but then in my mind I kept thinking of Willie from The Simpsons as well.
Yeah. Well, I know, but you can't count that because he's an American actor using a Scottish accent, so
Right.
he can't be trusted, unfortunately.
And then I try to think about Scotty on Star Trek. What would
But
he
it
say?
depends
That's
on what part of Scotland you're from.
yeah,
If you're from Edinburgh versus if you're from Glasgow versus if you're from the Highlands versus if you're from the Lowlands, it's going to have a different sound. It's just
yeah,
like Texas versus Illinois versus New York. They all
yeah,
sound different.
yeah.
So it's hard to say, but it was quite amusing watching these two, and these guys were in full tuxedos because they were singing with the choir that was
Yeah.
singing with us, and they got in a full argument over how we pronounced take, and I thought that was the most wonderful situation, and it made me very, very happy, and I want to go back to Scotland so bad I can't even tell you. I went there for college. I went there for my honeymoon, and I want to go back again. And it's such an amazing country. By the way, the whole time we were in Scotland, we only met one rude Scottish person the entire
Mm-hmm.
time we're there. And I'm pretty sure he was going through a divorce when we walked into his shop. So I can't really blame him for being slightly rude at us.
Mm-hmm.
Because his wife was there, and there were raised voices. We were like, okay, we need to leave now, but we didn't get out fast enough before he started yelling at us. So that was the only rude person, though. Everyone else was super, super wonderful.
Yeah.
And they were like, why are you in Scotland? And we said, we're here on our honeymoon. And they're like, you came to Scotland on your honeymoon? And we said, yes, because it's wonderful. And they said, where are you from? And we said, Chicago. And they said, oh, I've always wanted to see Chicago. Why didn't you go to the Caribbean? Like that was the conversation that we had several times over.
Yeah.
And but Scotland was amazing. If you ever get a chance, any of you, if you ever get a chance, you must go to Scotland.
Yeah, I would love to get to Scotland and Ireland and over to England and just that part of the world and everything like that. But I guess for them, they're like, why would this be a honeymoon destination? And think of all the other stuff because I don't know some of the weather type stuff. I think the weather has to be the right time and when you go over there. But yeah,
Right
well,
here.
yeah,
Right here. We went in September.
yeah,
They have the Highland Games that run all summer. It's the whole every weekend all summer is the Highland Games, and
mm-hmm.
it's in different sections, and they do different events, and they have all this stuff, and it's this huge thing. If you go the weekend after that has ended, you don't get all the crowds. You kind of have the space, the whole country to yourself, pretty much.
Yeah.
But everyone's super nice. Oh, he snuck in again to throw in something. So I wish he would just stay and
You
talk.
should just stay on there.
Anyway, so we had this thing when we went to Scotland, and it was a great thing that we did, and I would recommend it to anyone who goes to a new city to check out places.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the first pub. The first pub we went to was always a touristy pub. It was where all the tourists went. And we went to the bartender and we got chatting with the bartender, and we would ask the bartender, when you get off work at 11 p.m., where do you go to drink? And they would tell us. We'd say, okay. We'd have one more drink and we'd hang out there a little bit. And then we'd be like, see you later. We would go to that bar.
Yeah.
At the next bar, we would say, okay. We'd get talking with the bartender and we would say, okay, when you get off work, where do you go to drink? And they would say, oh, I go to this bar at 1 o'clock when I'm off work. Okay, we're going to that bar. So we would go to that bar next. We would get chatting with the bartender and say, when you get off work, where do you go? Now, here you've gotten, because the first bar was all tourists.
Right.
The second bar had some tourists and some locals. The third bar was mostly locals.
Mm-hmm.
Once you ask that bartender, where do you go at 4 o'clock in the morning when you get off work? What bar do you go to? So we did that. We went to the next bar. We ended up at a place called the White Oak. This is in Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And we were told this was one of the oldest bars in Edinburgh. And we were told when you walk in, there is a small bar area and they'll have live music, but you don't want to go there. Turn to your left, go down the stairs, go down another flight of stairs, and you'll have a hallway where the bathrooms are. Go through the swing doors at the end of that hallway, and you'll find the right bar. And we went, what? Because I'm sorry, what? So I mean, and we're in Chicago. Like we know about the speakeasies. We have the speakeasies still, but we were still like, okay. So we walked to the White Oak. We walked in, and they had a guitarist playing, and they had a nice crowd there, and they had the little bar there. We each got a drink at that bar and listened to the guitarist for a little bit, and then we did walk down those stairs that were to the left of the entrance. We walked down this long hallway that looked like 1990s middle school, like the linoleum floors and like the wood paneled doors. So we got to the end of the hallway. There were the bathrooms. We walked through the doors and we found a room approximately the size of this room. This room is about 14 by 12. It's a tiny room. And it was a bar. It had its own, it was dry bar. They had like 4 taps, and mostly it was 90 shilling, 60 shilling, and like 2 other things. Like that was it. And there was a lady playing guitar. She was from Paris. She was there. She does folk tunes from all over the world, and she travels and just plays her folk tunes in the bars, right? So she's there from Paris and she's playing her tunes, and we sit down, and we were there for about 2 hours, maybe 3. And in that period, we had a girl from California walk in with her violin, and she started playing fiddle to some of the folk tunes that the French lady was playing. So because they knew some of the same tunes. So she's playing her violin. We have another gentleman walk in, and he looks really shifty, really shady. And he had a suitcase, a briefcase with him. And inside this briefcase, he kept sneaking out percussion instruments. So he had like egg shakers, he had spoons, all these different things. But he's sitting in the corner, hiding from everybody, and sneakily playing his percussion instruments with the music that's playing. He didn't want anyone to know he was doing it, but everyone knew he was doing it.
I feel like that'd be Chew. I feel like that was Chew maybe in the corner.
Know, right? So he's playing his percussion in the corner. We have 2 German ladies that are both dressed like dominatrix. Full out. And she was laughing his ass off downstairs. So he just caught up with something we said. So we have 2 ladies that look like dominatrix. They're both from Germany. They didn't say a word to us. They were talking to each other. I go to the bathroom and I leave. And they immediately move to Chew's table. And they're sitting with him talking to him about me while I'm gone. When they see me come back, they move back to their table and don't say a word. A little bit later, Chew leaves to use the bathroom, and they both converge on me because he warned me.
Yeah.
He leaves to use the bathroom. They come and talk to me, and they're like, "Oh, what are you here for? What's going on?" And it's broken English because they're from Germany, and we're working our way through a conversation, and there was a whole lot of stuff going on. And the end of the night, it's like, end of the night, the morning, 4:00 in the morning, when the bar is finally closing. So the lady who was there being paid to play, she's playing an Irish or a Scottish folk tune. I can't remember which, but it's a drinking song. One of the sad ones, this like, we've all come together to drink, and we might not see each other again, but we're happy that we're here now, that kind of song. And it's so funny because Mr. Percussion in the corner, he pulls out his egg shakers and he's kind of going with the song. The violinist is going. We've had 2 other guitarists come in, so they're joining in on other parts to the song and kind of playing along. She's singing the lead. I'm singing harmonies with her because I was a choir person and a music teacher for several years. So I'm singing harmonies. other people are keeping, beer on the table, and it's like this. The whole room converged in this musical epiphany of Scottish drinking song at 4 o'clock in the morning in one of the oldest haunted pubs in Edinburgh. And I am so glad that we went through 4 other bartenders to get to this space.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, any of you traveling, ask the bartenders where they go, because you never know what you're going to find. And I am so happy I have this memory so clear in my head, because I never would have gotten the chance to sing with a French chanteuse, with a California violinist, with a random Scottish percussionist, with German dominatrix. Like, who would have thought this would have happened? But I got to experience this, and oh my God, all of you need to travel all the time.
That's a life moment right there. Yeah.
Yeah. The magic that is music and beer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, brings people together.
I am so sorry. I totally took over there for a second.
No, this is me talking about you. No, that's awesome. That's
I was like the guy in the corner with the egg shakers. I know what I did.
No, you are not Chew. It's an excellent experience. I was like, wow. Let me see where to go from there. But
I still hear you laughing every now and again, and I don't know what part he's laughing at. But
so the whole Wiener Circle thing was on Clark Street in Lincoln Park. For night shift staff. Okay. And apparently Big Daddy's been there because they ripped him a new asshole, he said.
I haven't been to that one. I'll have to check that out.
It's always done kind of tongue-in-cheek. Look up Trying to Insult Dog.
Nice.
Too. There you go.
See,
they have a stick for it. Popeyes, they just do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were laughing the whole time, though, right, Big Daddy? Got to run night off. See you Thursday. Yes, Todd, indeed.
Todd. See you Thursday.
Take care, Todd. Yes, Daisy. It was funny. Yeah, I mean, they have a whole thing where they do the routine, and it's all done in fun and jest. You act up at Popeyes, you might get shot or stabbed. You just don't know. You don't know how it's going to end. So it's kind of like...
They only focus on you if you react the way they want you to. If you ignore them, they don't do it. But if they get a reaction, they're going to play with that.
However, it was packed, and they focused on me. It was packed. Why y'all keep messing with me? Yeah. They liked you, Big Daddy. I take that as a high compliment indeed.
Darn right.
Yeah.
You were entertaining. That's what it is.
No, but that's awesome and stuff. So, I mean, I definitely enjoyed having you on here, and hopefully everybody definitely checked you out. You got a great thing you're doing, you and Chew. So keep it going. Anything you want to talk about before we wrap up? Anything you're working on? Anything? I know you got the editing and stuff you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah, the editing is a nightmare, man.
Anything Chew want to run up the stairs and tell you before we sign off?
Chew, now's your chance to run up the stairs and tell me anything you want to say first. But so we oh, he's here.
Ideas for charity.
Oh, yes. So we have done St. Baldricks as a charity. He's saying ideas for charity. So we were looking into Habitat for Humanity, but they do a lot of stuff overseas, and that doesn't work as well for us. But we're looking for other ideas for other charities to look into, because honestly, we had a lot of fun doing this one, and we kind of we want to run with it, because if we get viewership, that's going to help a lot of charities. Right. Animal rescue is something that I'm really big into, so I could see that being a possibility for the future. But yeah, we kind of we want to help. If we can help people at the same time that we're having a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
getting to first of all chat with all the beer tubers, including you, sir, because you're amazing, and we've had so much fun watching your Thursdays. And oh my gosh, like we've checked in on so many. Even when we're out and about, like we're out at Kings and Convicts, and we're like, oh. Hold on, Dylan. We can't listen to you right now because we're listening to the live stream from Cleveland
Can
here.
you put it up on the TV here, by the way? Yeah.
And the folks at Kings and Convicts are aware of your channel, just so you know, like, because
Well, actually, if you go out to Kings and Convicts, let them know. I want to talk to them because I'm really interested in the whole Ballast Point type thing.
I
So
know,
I would love to have one of them come on or talk video and stuff. So
I've been talking with Dylan and Ethan. They're two of our contacts here at the Highland Park location. The gentlemen who started the brewery are currently out in California handling the Ballast Point crossover thing. So Ballast Point was huge. They purchased Ballast Point and had to handle the logistics of owning Ballast Point, which is a huge thing, which is why people stopped seeing Kings and Convicts on the shelf. However, within the last 6 months or so, they've started brewing the Kings and Convicts again. So you're going to see more of the Kings and Convicts beers come out. If you go to, it's the funniest thing. Most of the folks here are on YouTube, obviously. Go to the Kings and Convicts channel and watch their start out video, like what they filmed when they were starting out, because it's animated first. It's in an Australian accent, which is super happy for me because I love listening to the Australian accent. But they're talking about how the Brit and the Australian came together in Highland Park, frickin' Illinois, to start a brewery called Kings and Convicts. And I mean, their video about the Hougemont when it came out, the Pilsner that they have, which I adore their Pilsner. It's one of my favorites. I mean, they haven't uploaded any videos for like 4 years, granted. But the stuff that's there, oh my gosh, it's so freaking funny. You gotta check it out.
So for Kings and Convicts, one of them was from Australia, and the other one was from Scotland or
England.
Well, that makes sense now because I was kind of curious about their title because
you got the Kings.
Australia started out as a penal colony,
and they sent off the convicts.
Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I need to get
the whole idea of Australia
was
where they sent their convicts. Like that's literally what they used that continent for.
yeah, they sent them all there, and and they built something out of it. So
yeah. And the Hougemont, the Pilsner that I mentioned that I love so much, that was actually the name of the last ship that took convicts to Australia.
Look at that.
The history lesson there is kind of fun. And then they also have this strong tie to Teddy Roosevelt. Was it Teddy Roosevelt? I believe it was Teddy Roosevelt. He, as a president, he was doing a speech in Highland, Illinois, and he was shot, actually shot, like physically gunshot. And he said, his aides were like, "Hey, let's get you to the hospital." And he said, "Oh no, I have a speech to do first. We'll go after." So he did his speech with buckshot in him, and then it's Highwood, Illinois, apologies. He then went to the hospital afterwards, but he talked about what a tough area of Illinois that was. So it's kind of a running gag that Teddy Roosevelt was, shot for one of his speeches.
That's interesting.
There. But they have a lot of, they have a couple of their beers reference that situation. That happened.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So it's a fun. They like to get into the history, which I always find amusing. Anyone who likes comedy and history at the same time, Eddie Izzard.
Oh yeah,
He's my favorite comedian of all time. I've seen him 4 times live. but he does history and comedy at the same time, and it makes me happy on every level that has ever existed. So if you haven't checked out Eddie Izzard, when he's not running marathons, if he's running marathons, he's not as funny, but when he's doing his comedy shows, he's quite amusing.
I haven't even seen him do anything in a while, but I know the name. I've seen him do stuff before. So
He's on a semi-tour right
Yeah.
now. I think the last I heard he was in Canada, so...
Yeah.
So yeah, Kings and Convicts is great. Phase 3 is amazing. Anyone who gets a chance, I know they're not super wide, they don't have the distribution that's super huge yet, but if you get to the Chicagoland area, nice. Eddie's amazing.
Yeah.
And his legs look better in his skirt than mine, which still ticks me off, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks great in a pair of fishnets. I saw him at the Chicago Theater in 2019 too. Sorry, James wrote again. I shouldn't be reading my head in the... I saw him there too. We were in the same crowd. Isn't that fun?
He's on Netflix too, James.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
But Eddie Izzard's fantastic. As far as YouTube channels that got me interested in YouTubing in the first place, Jack's Films, comedy, parody, and music. He is very, very funny. I mean, he doesn't need more subscribers, honestly. He's doing fine. But him and then Rachel Maxey, she is... she does kind of retro clothes, sewing, crafting, decorating, all sorts of fun stuff. So she's pretty amazing. And I think other than Blue Ice and Brian the Beer Snob, I think we're good. I think I've covered all my little extras that I wanted to mention. So
I like to thank the Academy. Yeah. So
Well, these are just people who are freaking amazing, and everyone needs to know about them forever because they're awesome.
Yeah. It's a growing community. There's a lot of good people in it. So I love sharing stories like this. So I'm glad you're able to come on, and everybody that watched, I know a lot of people that tuned out now and ready to go to bed and stuff as you get up for the next day. People that are watching on the replay at this point, make sure to check out Mallory. A lot of good stuff on her channel, and just a lot of cool things happening. So hopefully you all that watched enjoyed, and I look forward to bringing you guys some more stuff here in the future. Next week, like I said, is a big week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, things are planned. And if you go to the thing now on the site, you'll see Tuesday, I have a couple of guys coming in talking again about the Italian craft beer explosion. One of the things they told me, I didn't even realize the tiki glass was actually created in Italy. So a lot of people love that glassware, which is pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah. And so
I had no idea.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that and the book they have written. And I think I put a link in the description already about the book that you can actually look at if you want to check it out on Amazon. You can. Wednesday is going to be, I'll have that probably up tomorrow, who that'll be. So I won't say anything as of yet. But it's another great person that she's making great strides doing the beer coverage. She just had a great piece she wrote about the council and taking place around not just the beer industry, but kind of in general. And we're going to kind of talk about some of that stuff, but she made some really good stuff about having to hold people accountable to things. So I'm pumped to have her on next Wednesday. And of course, next Thursday, we got the Toss One Back that we'll be doing, me and Todd. And of course, this Thursday, we have Shannon coming back, it looks like. So who the hell knows what will happen this week. So, but we'll have some fun. We'll have a blast. We'll drink some beers. And thanks for everybody that tuned in. And thank you for Mallory for being here again. And thank you, Chu, for your little brief pop-ins. We got a little bit of Chu's elbow. Maybe next time we'll get a shoulder or something. We'll see what happens. But thanks for all you guys that tuned in. Check out Mallory. Check out ImperfectlyMeCrafts on YouTube or also on Instagram, where she posts a lot of the pictures and details as well. That being said, we'll go ahead and get signed off here. And y'all have a great Tuesday night and a great hump day tomorrow. And Chu signs in. We'll see you on Thursday.
Because we will.
That being said, appreciate all of you. Y'all have a great night, and we will talk to you soon. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Oop.